for a game of pinball. All of a sudden, it feels like the 70s. The Astros and Mariners taking it back to 1979 at Safeco Field. Just wait till you see these retro uniforms. Don't go anywhere. Astros baseball starts right now.
Live from Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. It's game number 50 for Houston tonight as the Astros and Mariners hook up for this third game of the four-game series. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Mike Stanton with you. Tonight, the Astros will try to turn things around a little bit. The offense has struggled. George Springer is back in there, and hopefully tonight that provides a little bump for the offense.
Had a few days off, George Springer did, after having that play at first base. He has gone through drills over the last couple days, has done it very well, has actually wanted to play, but Bo Porter wasn't going to push this young man. We want to make sure that his legs were completely under him, and you see some of the drills that he was doing to make sure that that leg was 100%, and tonight it is.
On the pitching side, Rudy Owens got a start last night as he was called up from the minor leagues. He's been sent back now. Brett Oberholzer has returned to the ball club. Dallas Keuchel getting an extra day after throwing 128 pitches last time out. And so you hope that Obi can pick up last year in September a complete game shutout against Seattle.
Last year's Astros pitcher of the year, threw the ball outstandingly. This year has had a little bit of struggles. He is getting less than 2 runs per game per start, and I think that's putting a little bit of additional pressure on Obi, trying to make the pitches a little bit better, and it's very hard to do. Has not had control of that four-seam fastball on the inside part of the plate to the right-handers. He's leaving the ball on the plate, and so we're not seeing the same success that he had, and due to that, he's going to his off-speed pitches a lot more this year. Last year, you can see the 62%, right about league average. He had great control and command of the 2- and 4-seam fastball in and out last year. Just quite haven't seen that command so far this year, Alan.
Coming up, Robinson Cano was the high-priced free agent everyone coveted this past offseason, but Jose Altuve has given him a run for his money as the American League's best-hitting second baseman. Julian Morales breaks down the matchup from the Pinball Museum when we return. Comcast Sportsnet's presentation of Houston Astros baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box and try Jack's new Blazing Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet.
Astros and Mariners facing off in Game 3 of a 4-game series, and they're throwing it back at Safeco Field, back to 1979. And so are we. We're at a pinball museum in Seattle's Chinatown. That's right, pinball machines are still around. They're rare, but they were in their prime back in the 70s. It's back when baseball wasn't the only game where you could find people batting around balls. Now, there's a couple of players who are doing a really nice job of knocking the ball back into the field of play. That is the 2 second basemen playing for these teams tonight. Jose Altuve and Robinson Cano, 2 of the hottest hitters in the game right now. Cano having a really nice month. He's hitting .333 in this series with a RBI and a walk. With this month, like I mentioned, batting .360. This is a guy who usually has slow starts to his season, but despite a rocky road trip by the Mariners here recently, he stayed hot. Seattle fans like to see this with a guy who received a 10-year, $240 million contract. And then you compare that to the Astros second baseman, Altuve, who's in the first year of a 4-year contract worth about $12.5 million. He's hitting .374 in May. .374 OBP leads the majors in hits. And he's coming off another 3-hit night. This series, he's 5 for 8, driving in 2 runs. Now, those 2 runs are the only 2 runs the Astros have scored in this series. So the offense really struggling to get it going. Porter was asked where would his team be without Jose Altuve right now, and he said, I don't want to talk about it. I can't even imagine it. All right, it is game time. I'm about to get started on Kingpin. How fun is this stuff? Pinball. We're taking it back to 1979. Let's get started. All right, coming up, Astros baseball. Rudy Owens made his major league debut last night. Brett Overholzer hopes to come in and get the win against the Mariners tonight. Don't go anywhere. First pitch and lineups coming up.
The site of this 4-game series. It's retro night here, and Lenny Wilkens, former coach with the Seattle Basketball Club, the champions back in 1979. Lenny Wilkens throwing out the first pitch this evening. Pretty good heat, but it was the 2-seamer. Good sinker right there from Lenny. Astros trying to find a way to pick up a win tonight. And now tonight's starting lineup for the Astros, presented by Jack in the Box. At the top of the order, it'll be Jose Altuve leading the major leagues in hits. He's at second. Right fielder George Springer's back in action. And in the 3 spot, Dexter Fowler. Jason Castro bats fourth. Matt Dominguez is at third. And Mark Krause at first in the bottom 3. Chris Carter, the DH. Left fielder Alex Presley. And at shortstop, Jonathan Villar.
Brandon Maurer starting for the Mariners tonight. He's the 23-year-old's making his 6th start on this 2014 season. Hasn't pitched in 10 days. Last time he started was May 14th against the Rays. He was the Mariners' 23rd round pick. In 2008's June draft out of Orange Lutheran High School, was also high school teammate with Garrett Cole from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Garrett Cole, a guy that has a chance to be one of the game's outstanding pitcher. Brandon Maurer is trying to stick now with Seattle. He's had a few starts already against the Astros, going 1-2, and the Astros have kind of swung the bats pretty well against him. 20 hits in 8 2/3 innings, 15 earned runs against Maurer, so they've had their way. A couple of home runs mixed in. You add that all up, it's a .435 batting average the Astros have had against this right-hander. Jose Altuve stands in, and again leading the league in hits, 66 of them as he stands in. Had 3 hits in last night's game.
And Alan, on the season, Maurer has a even 6 ERAs, given up 31 hits in 24 innings. So he not just struggled against the Astros, he struggled against the whole American League.
And he walks Altuve. No, he doesn't. A little delay in that call. Home plate umpire tonight is Sean Barber. At first base, Tom Hallion. He's the crew chief. Paul Nauertz at second, and down at third, Eric Cooper. So we'll be watching the calls behind the plate from Sean Barber tonight. That one's high. A leadoff walk to Altuve as the Astros try to get something going here in the first inning.
Seattle Mariners defense on the night. Dustin Ackley will be manning left field. James Jones in center. Michael Saunders is being right. Kyle Seager at third base. Willie Bloomquist 2 days in a row at short. Robinson Cano at second. Justin Smoke at first. And John Buck is getting the start behind the dish.
So Maurer walks his first hitter, and now George Springer back in action. The last we saw George, he was getting picked off in the 9th inning in Anaheim. That was the second out of that final inning. Jared Weaver picking up a complete game shutout against Houston. Pitch is hit in the air in deep right field, back at the wall. Let's watch it. This one's out of here. So Springer is back in action, and you bet welcome back. 2-run dinger here in the first inning, number 5 on the year for Springer. And you can't be without this guy's tools very long.
Alan, you're exactly right. He puts a great swing on this ball, gets a ball out over the plate, doesn't try and do too much with it, hits the ball extremely well, high bat speed, drives the ball out of the park, right field. Absolutely wonderful start.
Yeah, I'm not sure many guys can do that much with a baseball going the other way. That comes close to being a no-doubt shot, and teammates enjoying what they're seeing. George Springer is starting to make this a little bit of a regular thing now.
It definitely seems like the game is slowing down a little bit. We're not seeing that big, huge off-balance swing as much as we did when he first came up. He's just got to realize that he has enough power with that swing right there to really go out at any ballpark in any direction.
5 home runs for Springer, 17 ribbies now. So great stuff to be able to see. John Buck, the veteran catcher, goes out to the mound to talk with his young right-hander. As the count is 2-0 on Dexter Fowler, Jason Castro waits on deck. Look at some of the numbers on Maurer for the season. Right-hand hitters might have bumped to 300 now with that home run by Springer, but at 298 at the start of play. But the left-hand hitters hitting 341 as Fowler fouls it back. And you might anticipate here at Safeco Field, a place that's known as a pitcher's park, that Maurer would have pitched fairly well here. Not the case. He's allowed a .365 batting average here in this yard. An ERA of 6.75. He's been better on the road, but those numbers are not good.
No, they're not. And you're right. He should have. You would think he would pitch better in this park.
Pitch is popped up shallow in left field. Ackley comes on and calling and makes the catch. First out here in the first inning.
We're going to take a look at a couple the swing right here. You see the fastball elevated just a touch, He doesn't try and pull this ball. You see the nice balance in that swing.
Pitch is hit in the air and
the
deep
ball
right field.
just
Back
carries
at the
like
wall.
crazy. You see Michael Saunders has no play. That's 5 or 6 rows back.
With one out, Jason Castro stands in. I think it's the power of the rainbows for George Springer.
They look good. A lot of these guys are going real old school and wearing their pants up too with the high socks.
Well,
like
if Springer has himself much more of a night, might be the look he's going to be featuring for a while.
He'll be lobbying for these rainbows, bring them back every day.
This 1979 version of the rainbows with the number on the right leg of the pants. I loved it at the time. And I think a lot of softball teams would agree through the years.
Definitely a distinctive look, I will say that.
So you would never look at Jason Castro and say, what number is he? Or Jose Altuve for that matter.
That's right. Not from the front.
Pitch is hit in the air to left field. This will push Ackley back just at the track. He'll make the catch. 2 down in the first. I don't know. Is this uniform still the popular choice for America's softball teams? Because I mean, this was the winning choice for a long time. In greens, in yellows, in all different shades. Matt Dominguez stands in.
You have to remember the Chicago White Sox at the same time were wearing shirts with collars and shorts.
The shorts, they were big.
Gosh, that really was a softball.
Somehow that didn't catch on. I don't know what went on there, but actually there are summer days when I envied the White Sox, although at sliding time into second base on a possible double play, I don't imagine they were digging those unis.
Alan, Seattle Mariners are having a good time with the board also with this retro look. Matt Dominguez has a very nice mustache up on the board.
Not quite Raleigh fingers, but pretty stylish.
Not even sure if Matty can grow a mustache at all, much less one that big.
Yeah, you got to be proud as a player.
That's a look. I don't know if it's a good look, but it is a look.
You always hope that Mom can see that. Fastball thrown by at 95, so Mauer has some good heat here this evening.
It's the first time he's gone up that high. Might be a little bit of anger on that ball.
He's got a little bit of the mullet going for the retro night. Again, a good fastball at 96. You can see why the Seattle organization likes this arm.
He is only 23 years old, so he still has plenty of time to develop. But you can see the velocity is there. He's got the movement.
And now a full count on Dominguez. Mark Krause waits on deck. Just the first inning, game 3 of the 4 game set here in Seattle. Pitch it in the air, left center field. Easy for Jones. He'll come in and make the play. 3 fly ball outs following the 2-run dinger by George Springer. His 5th on the year and very impressive. Welcome back, George. Can't be without this guy's tools. to that 2-run dinger by George Springer in the top of the first inning. For the Seattle Mariners tonight, James Jones leads it off. He's the center fielder, followed by the DH Stephen Romero and second baseman Robinson Cano. Middle three, Justin Smoke at first. Third baseman is Kyle Seager, and John Buck is behind the plate. In the bottom three, Michael Saunders in right. Left fielder is Dustin Ackley, and Willie Bloomquist gets a start at short.
Brett Oberholzer on the mound for the Astros tonight. The 24-year-old just got recalled from AAA Oklahoma City, where he had 2 starts, went 1-1 with a .375.
So Obi's back in action. Retro night if you're just checking in 1979's uniforms for both ball clubs. Fastball at the bottom of the knees for a strike.
A little bit more on Brett. He dropped 6 straight decisions after allowing 4 runs on 9 hits in 6 innings against the Tigers. He's 0-6, like you saw in the graphic there, 0-6 with a .568 ERA, but he was the Astros pitcher of the year last year.
9th meeting of the year between these two clubs, 9th of 19, and it's game number 50 for Houston. So with that final of the 3 games in Kansas City and the final of the road trip, the Astros will have played 1/3 of their schedule. Curveball stays high. 1-2 the count. The Astros start the night 17-32. 13.5 games back in the West. Of course, Seattle leads, and they've gotten off to a great start. Pitch hit on the ground right side. Altuve makes the play, and out number 1.
Astros defense on the night. Alex Presley is in left. Dexter Fowler's in center. George Springer in right. Matt Dominguez playing third base. Jonathan Villar short. Jose Altuve is at second. Mark Krause manning first base. Castro behind the plate. And, of course, Brett Oberholzer on the mound.
The Seattle Mariners, who have won the first 2 games of this series, 24-23. So don't forget about them. They're 5.5 back behind Oakland. It is turn back the clock night. And I mean, I'm not sure you can turn a clock back this far. Change up and a nicely placed one off the outside edge. 2-0 the count.
1979, our own Alan Ashby's heyday.
Not sure I had any heydays actually, Mike, but thanks for the effort. 3-0 the count.
We might have a little surprise for you a little bit later that might change your mind just a touch.
I'm good for good surprises.
It's a good one.
Some surprises that I probably would pass on.
No, this one will definitely make you smile.
And a strike at the knees. 3-1 the count. The Oakland A's, by the way, 30-18 as they get close to that 1/3 pole. And they played very good baseball, trying to win the division a 3rd straight year.
That ball got Castro. Fastball down the middle. Fouled straight back. It looked like it went off Castro's right arm.
It hurt more when wearing those uniforms.
So you're saying those rainbows had no padding in them?
None whatsoever. Yeah, that's the one that gets you right on or near the shoulder, the throwing shoulder, and then you can't throw for a week, and everybody wants to know what's going on.
They're right on the point of the shoulder.
And ball 4, a 1-out walk to Romero. That'll bring up Robinson Cano. Now, Brett Oberholzer, a guy that needs to command his pitches if he's going to succeed. And we saw a very good version of Brett Oberholzer last year. This year, he was not supplied with offensive support, and at the same time started to struggle a bit.
Yeah, he averaged less than 2 runs per start while he was here before they sent him down to OKC, and I think that might have had a little something to do with it. You saw him pressing a little bit, trying to be a little bit better than he can, and the key to Brett Oberholzer is that 4-seam fastball on the glove side, which is inside on a right-hander, having command of that spot. When he hits that spot and he can do it consistently, that opens up the breaking ball. That opens up the changeup away.
Oscar Gamble is back in action tonight. Oh, no, that's Robinson Cano.
Glasses and all.
Robbie's putting up some good numbers this year. Tied for the league lead in batting average at .326. Mentioned Altuve leads the league with 66 hits. Well, on that list, 5th in the league, Cano at 60. Multi-hit games, Cano has 19. Altuve and Kinsler lead with 20. And now a line shot that drops in right field. Stopping at second after a turn is Romero. George Springer gets it back in. A walk and a single with one out, and it brings up the cleanup man, Justin Smoak.
Good play by Springer and Wright. This ball is absolutely smoked, and it gets in on him a little bit faster than he was expecting it to. He did a good job of keeping that ball in front of him. This was a breaking ball that hung kind of middle in for Cano, and this ball was squared about as well as you can hit a ball.
I like seeing George get rid of the baseball and fire it back in like this. We've seen problems for Springer. 6 errors already while playing in the big leagues, but all of it with either throws or balls on the ground. And so maybe getting a little more acclimated in this regard. Springer already has homered on the night, providing the Astros the 2-0 lead. Switch hitting Justin Smoak at the plate. Shift on, 3 infielders on the left side, and that breaking ball in the dirt, and Castro kind of stands up on it.
Not exactly textbook, but it did get the job done in this situation.
Eventually got it done. The Mariners have won 5 of the first 8 games between the two teams this year. Last year, Seattle went 10-9 in the 19-game series. And a ball and a strike.
Astros have the shift on. Altuve is on the left of second base. VR playing in the hole, looking for the ground ball double play.
Obi checks his runner at second a couple of times, and a line shot into right field. This will drop in front of Springer. George gets it back in, and the bases are juiced now, so a walk and 2 hits. That'll bring up Kyle Seager. Opposite field, I was just going to say, and it looked very much in terms of the way it hung out like the base hit by Cano.
Yeah, it did. That ball was struck well. You saw Justin Smoak really work on keeping inside that ball, driving the ball to right field against the shift. But the ball was hit too hard for Romero to score from second.
So Seager at the plate. The Astros pick up a deuce, and Seattle trying to bounce right back here in the bottom of the first inning. Now 3 infielders on the right side. Leaves over only Matt Dominguez on the left side, and Matt not playing as we sometimes see him at shortstop, just in the third base position, but probably 30 feet off the line.
Jonathan Fiara is close enough to second base. If we get the ground ball to Altuve, we can turn 2.
Seager with a big rip. It's a ball and a strike. Oberholzer last pitched with the Astros on May 6th. That was at Detroit. 6 innings. He allowed 9 hits and 4 earnings in that one. 105 pitches. And then got himself sent back to the minor leagues. Curveball grounded to first. Krause will go to second and throws it away into left field. And 2 runs are going to score on what likely will be an E3. And we're tied quickly at 2.
Krause had the right idea here. They got the ground ball. He just threw that ball low into VR's right, wasn't able to make the play. Everybody safe, 2-run score.
Because you cannot anticipate a double play, it'll go as a fielder's choice for Seager. He'll pick up an RBI. Smoke will reach on the error going into second base, and everybody else moves up, and then the second run, Cano scores on the E3. Yeah, that's not the kind of bottom of a first inning you want to be able to put out there, and it's not all Obi's fault, but a 1-out walk and then 2 hits. Still just 1 out, and John Buck at the plate. Buck has had his struggles against the league, hitting .219, but he swung the bat very well against Houston pitching back on the most recent homestand when Seattle was in.
Alan, Brett just doesn't look real comfortable right now. He hasn't found that fastball command. He's been elevated a little bit too much. That's why those balls are being hit so well.
Want to know the count. Buck, plenty of power, and now 2-0, and that's the type of count that'll get you in a lot of problems. John Buck not getting a lot of playing time for Seattle. Mike Zunino, the young catcher, doing the bulk of the work. Pitch hit in the air to right field. Springer going back just a bit. He'll make the catch. Tagging a bit late at second base and going nowhere is the lead runner, Justin Smoke. So the runners hold, 2 outs here in the first inning. It brings up Michael Saunders.
Alan, we're going to take a look at this graphic again of fastball usage from 2013 to 2014. And what this really tells me is that Obi has not had that fastball command. You can see the high batting average on the fastball in 2014. So when he goes into damage control, what that really means is you usually go to your off-speed pitches a little bit more.
So maybe if you're a little sharper with the fastball, get ahead in counts, you kind of go back to throwing a few more fastballs, more effectively so when you start throwing some breaking balls for strikes. And that's what we saw from Obi last year. There's the fastball at the knees at 92.
Not exactly the start that Brett was looking for, but if he can get Saunders out right here and keep this at a tied ball game at 2, you're still in it.
A run scored on that throwing error charged to Kraus, but the fly ball followed, and you could certainly assume that it was deep enough to drive in a run. So I have a feeling if the 2 runs are all the Mariners get here in the first, they'll both be earned against Obi. Half swing, did he go through? Peel down to third, palms down from Eric Cooper. So a 1-2 count. Turn back the clock night here in Seattle. Another beautiful evening for a ball game. We've had 3 of them now. Had a bit of rain yesterday morning. I guess if you come into Seattle and you don't get a bit of rain, you might check to see if you're actually in Seattle. Got him swinging. The foul tip hung on to by Castro. First strikeout for Oberholzer. For the M's in the first against Obi. They get a pair, and they leave a pair.
between the Astros and the Mariners in the second here, and it is turn the clock back night here at Safeco Field, as you can tell. The Astros wearing the throwback 1979 rainbow unis, and it got us to thinking that this should be our Twitter question. So our Twitter question to you is, what are your favorite Astros uniforms of all time and why? And then it got us to thinking about all the old Astros logos. And there were some great ones, starting with the Colt 45s back in the beginning. You know, recently there was the change. Look at all the ones in between. Something Ash probably remembers a little bit more than I do, Ash.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. Nicely put. Yeah.
I'm going to lose tonight when it comes to this stuff. There's no way I'm going to win this.
Yeah, there are some great ones in there. What did you say is your favorite now? Are you going to put it out there?
I like these right here. These rainbows.
This is your favorite.
Oh, they're so good.
They are great, and you can see them any night at a softball field near you. Yeah, Mark Krause at the plate takes a strike. It's 1-2. 2-2 ball game. Got word that the scorekeeper awarded one of those runs against Brett Oberholzer as being unearned. I disagree, and we'll see if that changes as the night goes on.
Yeah, I do think that fly ball to right was definitely deep enough to score someone from second base.
Yeah. Well, from third base, yeah. The runner would have been at third base minus the error. Ball hit into right center field. On the move is Jones, and he can fly. And out number one here in the second. So, what's your favorite?
My favorite, I like the Colt 45.
Do you?
I do,
yeah.
I do. And then you have the Astrodome in the next two, the unofficial eighth wonder of the world.
You know what? If I were to pick my very favorite, and I really like the pinstripe version of 2000 to 2012, but I love those previous uniforms, 95 to 2000. I thought they were spectacular. First pitch swinging is Chris Carter. He pops it up on the infield. First baseman Smoke under and makes a catch. 2 down here in the second inning.
Chris Carter swinging at the first pitch, trying to ambush a fastball right there. It was a little bit out in front and popped it up.
That'll bring up Alex Presley, getting the start in left field tonight. The Astros, of course, faced Felix Hernandez last night, and generally speaking, that's given you a chance to have a long night. Fastball right on the outside edge for Mauer. Name is pronounced just like Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins. Felix Hernandez worked 8 innings last night, allowed 5 hits and 1 run, and struck out 9 along the way. He was very efficient. And Rudy Owens got the start a night ago. For the Astros, Scott Feldman will be working game 1 in Kansas City. 2-1 the count. Tomorrow it's Dallas Keuchel going back out to the mound. Dallas getting an extra day's rest after 128 pitches of great work last time out at Anaheim. Keuchel will be opposed tomorrow by Hisashi Iwakuma.
And last night, Alan, I think we both feel like Rudy actually pitched better than his line score says, going 5 2/3, giving up 5 runs on 9 hits.
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't a great night, but it was better than the numbers might have indicated.
Yeah, he got bit by a couple big innings, giving up 4 in the first and then 4 in the 6th. But those middle innings, I thought he actually did a pretty good job of keeping these Mariners hitters off balance.
Rudy Owens has been sent back down to AAA. And of course, Brett Oberholzer joins the club today. High fastball fouled back. It's 3-2. And like with Colin McHugh a month ago when he came up for a start or 2 for the ball club, pitched so well and has continued to do so. He's now a fixture in the rotation. We'll see how it all works out for Brett Oberholzer. 2-run dinger by George Springer in the first inning. Seattle responded with a pair. Little pop fly, shallow and right. Tough play coming on. And a sliding play. A heck of a job by Michael Saunders. So with that play defensively for Seattle, it's a 1-2-3 second for Houston. We're tied at 2.
The Astros and Mariners. Brett Oberholzer gets back to work, recalled, and Bo Porter saying today this was to give his starters an extra day of rest. Starting pitching is a strong suit for this club. He's really trying to take care of those guys. It also gives Keuchel will get the first day of extra rest, who's thrown 236 pitches in his last 2 starts. He will go tomorrow. And also, guys, Brad Peacock, missing that start last night but threw a bullpen today, said he will be fine. And when he returns to the rotation, that will give everyone one more extra day of rest.
Thanks, Julia. So that rotation getting a little extra time right now. Dustin Ackley leading off here in the 2nd inning. Down on the count 0-2. He'll be followed by Willie Bloomquist, and back to the top with James Jones.
Looks like at least for a short period of time the Astros are going to go with a 6-man rotation.
Off speed pitch gets the strikeout. 2nd strikeout now for Obi.
He was able to get ahead of Dustin Ackley right here, and then he gets to go to the good changeup. That's one of his off speed pitches. That's a swing and miss pitch. Not really effective out of the zone when behind in the count, but when he gets ahead, he can be devastating on both righties and lefties.
Glad to see him use that against the left-hand hitter. A lot of guys, left-handers, will use it at will against right-handers and then back away from it against the lefties. But Obi gets the strikeout. Bloomquist at the plate takes a strike. So Oberholzer here in the 2nd inning, pumping the strike zone.
Major League Baseball has a guy going into the Hall of Fame. Has a lot to do with that changeup lefty on lefty going in this year. Tom Glavine decided after a couple years, my changeup is my best pitch. Why do I want to put it in my pocket? Just because the guy's on the other side of the plate.
Confidence factor. I don't know if you had a changeup that was a big part of your arsenal, but I think some left-handers, if we're going to talk about lefties, fear that the pitch will get away and hit that left-handed hitter.
Right, right. And then there's always that, to me, old wives' tale that left-handers really kill the ball down and in. If it's below the zone, that's a great pitch because they do tend to swing at low pitches a little bit more than right-handers. Now, if it's a down and in strike, that's a different story. Yeah,
it's a funny thing. We praise that slider down and in on a left-hand hitter that gets the swing and a miss, and yet out of the other side of our mouth we say you can't pitch down and in on the lefties.
Right.
So it's really all about results. Brent Strom's got it all figured out. We'll just ask him when we need the answers. Met with Rick Waits, the pitching coach for Seattle tonight, and Waits and Strom both live in Arizona, same area, hang out together and talk pitching. Looks like Stromy trying to make sure he has something figured out. There's Rick Waits, old teammate of mine. Not so old, but a former teammate of mine. I'm not a kind of person like Julia with all that kind of commentary. Strike 3 called on Bloomquist. 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Brett Oberholzer.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Rick Waits was actually, I had the privilege of being a pitcher on one of his staffs when I was in Texas.
Leadoff man James Jones at the plate.
You notice I didn't say old pitching coach.
Yeah, thank you. Jones grounded out to Altuve in the first inning. 13-game hitting streak in tow. Oh, what a job this guy has done since coming on to man center field for Seattle. It's not a bad pitch, but called a ball.
Definitely has more talent out there than Almonte did defensively.
Ooh. Boy, that was a struggle.
There were a few times he was the Astros' best player.
Nicely spotted. 2 balls and a strike. And Obi gets back even in the count. Skies have not darkened here in Seattle.
Take a look at that pitch. That's fastball inner half. But I think lefty on left. Jones might have been looking for something off speed.
Ground ball slowly hit left side. Tough play from Matty D. Doesn't get much on the throw, but still got him. What a play by Matt Dominguez. And a bang play, and I think Lloyd McClendon is going to come out and question this ruling. We'll see if we wind up with a replay.
Started off with a great pitch by Brett Oberholzer. Another fastball inside. He got this one way in, and he just nubs it right down the line. You see Matt Dominguez didn't get a good grip on that. Very close play at first.
To the naked eye, I thought he was safe. Watching that replay, tough to tell. Yeah, he's safe. He's going to wind up getting himself an infield single here, I believe. The umpires, a couple of them have come back by the screen, have put on their music headsets. They will listen to music now for the next few minutes as the decision is made in New York. And look to me, Mike, like Obi might have grabbed a palm ball and just simply unable to get much on it.
I agree. This is a very tough play by Dominguez. We're going to see a freeze frame right here that he is clearly on the base. The ball is not to Mark Krause yet. I think this ball caught Matt Dominguez off guard just a little bit. Left-handers don't usually hit the ball right down on the ground to third base. And you saw Matt Dominguez. We don't see it very often.
So here's what it looks like in full speed. And this is the way you have to call it if you're an umpire. You don't have the benefit of slow motion replays and the super slows and all that sort of thing. So it's been reversed. It's an infield single for Jones, a 14-game hitting streak now for the Seattle leadoff man. He's aboard with good speed, and it brings up the DH, Stephen Romero. They did a nice job getting that review done in 52 seconds. That's the way they ought to be.
Romero last time up drew a base on balls and then ended up scoring on the smoke single.
Close pitch misses. James Jones has stolen a couple in 2 tries. So certainly a threat to run. Brett Oberholzer can be quite effective against the running game. Doesn't have what you'd call a Class A move to first base, but can be quick to the plate.
It does a good job of holding the ball. That can be as effective as anything else, even a good move to first base or to home plate. Base stealers don't usually like to just stand over there and get all tense as the pitcher just holds the ball.
Obi has yielded 4 stolen bases in 5 tries this year. Little surprising because you go back to last season and a successful version of Brett Oberholzer. There was only 1 stolen base in 5 tries against him last year, so the numbers have reversed. And now a little better move to first. Romero drew a walk and scored in the first inning. That got the 2-run inning started for Seattle. They got base hits from Cano and Smoke. And then that key error. The runner goes, the throw down not in time. So Castro makes a good throw, but just too much of a jump from Jones. He has his 3rd stolen base, and now in scoring position, a 1-1 count on Romero.
Alan, that could be a blessing in disguise, only because now Brett does not have to pay attention to him so much on first base. You got 2 outs, just get the hitter out.
It's interesting to watch base runners once they get to the bag and start shifting appendages on the bag. Breaking ball grounded up the middle. VR on it, makes the throw on the run and got him. Nice play at shortstop by VR. That'll do it for Seattle in the second. They get a hit and leave him in.
Your favorite games, isn't it? Sportsnet. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game telecast. It's the Comcast Sportsnet Fan Photo brought to you by AT&T. Back at the Pinball Museum where I am in a serious game of spin out. Ash, this is probably one of your favorite games, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Julia. I know that you set some records today. I heard about that coming back this way. So nice going, Julia. Congratulations on the new records, and you'll have plenty of folks after everything you have done. Yeah, Julia leads us into this 3rd inning. Jonathan VR leads it off and flies out to left field on the first pitch. 1 up, 1 down in the 3rd. Back to the top with Jose Altuve, who walked and scored in the 1st inning.
Ash, what do you think Julia meant there, that this must have been one of your favorite games?
I don't know. I'm sure there was some sort of slight intended. No, Julia was being nothing but kind. And I could tell Julia's really good at that game. Although I think that last ball slipped by her. Jose Altuve was aboard on that home run by George Springer that he launched to right field. Springer, by the way, with that home run, is 5th, has a 6-game hitting streak. So we'll see if the league leader in hits right here. has the same kind of success he's been having. Palms down on that check. Jose Altuve has just been tearing it up. 66 knocks on the year. Pops it up on the right side. First baseman calling, that's Justin Smoke, but called off by Robinson Cano.
Comcast Business takes you inside the game as we look at how the teams are pitching George Springer. And you see right here in April, he was getting a lot more fastballs in May. And I think there's one telling number right here, and that is that May batting average against the fastball, just shy of 500. And here we'll see in the first inning why they're throwing him more breaking balls. He gets a fastball out over the plate, puts a good spin on, a good swing on it, backspins the ball over the right field wall. So I don't know about you, Ash, but if you were behind the plate and I was on the mound, we might be throwing him hooks and changeups.
Try to find some way. This guy is so loaded with tools. Takes that fastball apparently called high. Springer has hit home runs now in back-to-back ball games. Homered in that game that I errantly said was a shutout for Jared Weaver in Anaheim. A 2-1 win for Weaver and his Halo teammates. A 1-1 count. With the home run in the first, Springer hitting .246. I don't know, come the end of the season, if you see George Springer with a .250 batting average and he hits 25-30 home runs, how do you feel about his season?
Oh, I think it would be an outstanding season. And the one run on Weaver came on a George Springer home run, actually on a breaking ball. But you saw in that graphic, the batting average against breaking balls is very low.
That was the game that saw Springer make the tremendous running, diving catch in right center field. He launched one also to left center field. Here has the big swing. It's 2-2. He's been coming a ways with that batting average. It's safely in now 9 of his last 10, and he pops it up shallow in right field. Coming on is Saunders. He's under now, and a 1-2-3 third inning. Brandon Maurer starting to settle in as we're tied at 2.
Tied up in 2. Saturday, May 31st, 10,000 fans will receive an orange Jose Altuve jersey courtesy of Houston Methodist. First pitch against the Orioles is at 3:10, but get here early to get your Altuve jersey. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com.
League leader in hits right there, Jose Altuve, and not too bad with the glove either. He has just been playing brilliant baseball. Altuve defensively, trying to find that number, I believe 84 consecutive games for Jose without an error. For Seattle, Robinson Cano, the 3-hitter, will lead it off. raked a single into right field in the first inning, and that led to the 2 Seattle runs.
Robinson Cano right there looked like he was just going to give Brett Oberholzer strike one, not even offering it that fastball.
And now 0-2. Nicely painted by Brett. Cano has torn it up against Houston through a limited careers games, 19 games prior to tonight, a .338 mark, a couple of dingers, 12 RBIs. It's kind of what he does.
Yeah, he's probably that way against a lot of clubs.
On the hands, it's fouled off. It stays at 0-2. There's Jose Altuve and Robinson Cano, a couple of second basemen going at it, and Jose's got nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely not. I mean, you look at these numbers. We already talked about Jose Altuve actually leading the league in hits right now. Robinson Cano, the power stroke hasn't come yet, but you can see in the month of May, both of these guys hitting well over 350.
Cano got off to a bit of a slow start, but he's just come on playing the way he does. The only thing that's been missing is the home run ball. He's down on strikes, first out here in the third.
There's that lefty on left changeup. After throwing Robinson Cano several fastballs, he throws his good changeup down in the zone below it, and you see Robinson Cano off balance, waving at that pitch. That's an outstanding changeup, and something that if Brett Oberholzer gets ahead of the count, that's one of the reasons that he is so effective.
My experience with guys was that if you've got a changeup and you're lefty versus lefty, don't be afraid of it. And the same thing, righty versus righty. It can be an extremely good pitch. Justin Smoak comes to the plate. The shift is on defensively.
Especially if it's one of your go-to pitches. Now, if you're a 4-pitch mix and it's your 3rd or 4th pitch, yeah, maybe you don't want to do it. But for Brett, you know, it's probably his second best pitch. It's his best off-speed pitch.
It certainly can be his best on given nights. It just popped up shallow in right field. Altuve a long run and now has to make the over-the-shoulder catch. So if you watch Altuve and Robinson Cano, who's already made a similar play on a pop fly, it is all about casual and how cool can I make this.
Yeah, George Springer goes a long way for that ball. And because of the shift, Altuve was going a little bit of a different angle and actually ends up making it very casually, but that was not an easy play.
See Cano on the pop fly in the previous half inning, foul territory, and it looked like a time with the buds in the backyard. See how Altuve makes it.
You can see where Altuve is on the left side, basically playing shortstop. He did call the ball, but not that easy over the shoulder, kind of almost a basket catch.
That is not that easy. And this one's popped up on the left side. It's VR calling. There is not a pop fly that he hasn't liked, and he makes a play. 1, 2, 3 in the third for Obi. We remain tied at 2.
4th. Time to log on to csnhouston.com. Help us decide the player of the game. Your vote counts, and the winner will be revealed during Astros post-game live. Astros in-game live, where you can follow the action like never before with enhanced Bloomberg stats. It's pretty righteous, right, Ash?
Nice, Julia. I get what you're talking about.
Righteous. Ash, Dexter Fowler just looks absolutely at home in these 1979 version of the Astros uniform.
He looks boss to me. I don't know. I want to know what Julia used to say. Strike at the knees. It's 0-2. Gnarly. Yeah, that's a little bit later. How about you, Mike? What was your catchphrase?
Oh, I don't really know if I had one. I'll have to think about it here for a minute.
1-2 the count. We're in the 4th inning. 2-2 game. The Astros just one hit, but it went a long ways. George Springer launched one to right field, his 5th on the year. That came in the 1st inning. And Jose Altuve was aboard after walking. Seattle responded with 2 of their own very quickly. Hot looking is Fowler. First out here in the 4th inning. First strikeout for Mauer. And now a look back to 1979. Jimmy Carter was the president.
Yeah. Look at gas prices. 86 cents.
Seattle Supersonics, we mentioned they were the champions of the NBA at the time.
Reunited by Peaches and Herb.
The Deer Hunter was the best picture. Wow. And the Kingdome, which exists no more, was the site of the Major League All-Star Game. You want to have a Happy Meal right about now, don't you?
I wonder how much a Happy Meal cost. 50 cents maybe?
Kingdome is incapable of hosting the All-Star Game anymore, so they just don't do it.
It'd be hard to catch a fly ball in it right now.
Some cracks suddenly showed up at one point. I think Evel Knievel just shortly after that jumped it. Fastball on the inside edge. Castro flied out to left field in the 1st.
How many times did Evel Knievel actually make it?
I don't know. I think he came out on a stretcher most of the time. Yeah, Evel Knievel's kind of he's part of that whole lore of the 70s.
Oh, of course, yes. On his Harley.
How many bones did Evel Knievel break in the 70s?
I think the number is all of them.
Yeah, might have been. A couple of strikeouts for Mauer here in the 4th. It brings up Matt Dominguez.
Castro going fishing after the high fastball. After Mauer threw him a pretty good changeup previously in the at-bat.
Dominguez flied to center in the 1st. Takes the breaking ball and a good one.
Both pitchers have settled in nicely after having a rocky start in the 1st inning.
Dominguez 0 for 4 in last night's game. He's had just one hit here in the series. 1 for 9 now against Seattle pitching in this series. On his career in 26 games, he's done well against Seattle. 305 the mark. Couple of dingers, 8 doubles along the way.
97 on that pitch. Tried to reach back and blow it by Dominguez. The pitch before was a 91-mile-an-hour cut fastball.
Well, Brandon Mauer hasn't had a lot of success in the big leagues to this point. But with this type of arm, you see why he's a guy they keep coming back to.
There's that cutter. He overthrows that one a little bit. Front side flies and the ball stays elevated. See if Mauer goes soft right here.
Hard to figure why a guy that has that mid-90s plus kind of a heater and the other stuff to go with it, allegedly, and yet gives up 31 hits in 24 innings this year. Close pitch taken by Matty D. And last year the numbers weren't good at all in 90 innings, 114 hits. ERA at 6.30. Ground ball left side. That'll find the hole. Matt Dominguez has the second Houston hit of the night. Comes with 2 outs here in the 4th and brings up Mark Krause. So Matt snaps an 0 for 7 with that knock.
Yeah, Mauer did go soft. He went with the curveball. The ball was elevated waist high. Not exactly where pitchers are trying to throw it. Matt puts a pretty good swing on it. He was out in front a little bit, but got the good results with the base hit in the 5-6 hole.
Krause fly to center field. That in the second inning. And puts it in the air, shallow in left field. Coming on and toward the line a bit exactly. And the catch made. A base hit. And nothing on the scoreboard for the Astros. Tied at 2.
At Lowe's, we never stop improving, and neither does the Astros pitching staff. Looking at the entire pitching staff for the Houston Astros this year versus last year, and taking a look at the numbers real quick. Chase percentage is up. Leadoff out percentage is up. Opposing runners in scoring position average just below, but still pretty good all the way around. But the fastball usage you see there is down a little bit from last year. Mike, what does this mean exactly?
Well, Julia, I'm actually okay with that. I mean, you see the big numbers of 4th last year going down to 24th this year in fastball usage, but still at 61%, just under 61%, which is still very good. They're still pitching off their fastball. Really, to me, what it shows is these guys are trying to develop the pitchability of their particular game.
John Buck stands in, leading off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. A 2-2 tie. George Springer with a bomb. And there was a costly error by Mark Krause. John Buck at the plate. So it's turn back the clock night. 1979 is the year we're shooting at, and you see the uniforms as well as the shift on with John Buck at the plate. What was the big music of that year? Fly ball's going to find the seats. What do you remember about 1979 and the music that was very popular? I've got the songs in front of me from the Billboard Top 100. Mike, you're not allowed to look now.
Well, let's see. At that time, my parents and I were still living in the Houston area. I was about, 7th or 8th grade. And I know that on the country scene, that was urban cowboy type. The Urban Cowboy, the movie, John Travolta starred in. That was right about that time, I believe.
Yeah, Texas.
I can't help you out with the rest of it.
Texas became very big, and Houston and country music and everything were large at the time. And yet, I'm not sure they had quite hit. I'm asking myself if that might not have been about 1980 or so.
It might have been. It might have been.
Because what I've got listed here surprised me. The top song, according to Billboard, was My Sharona.
Nice.
Bad Girls by Donna Summer. Le Freak by Chic.
Yeah, I'm a little bit off. It was June 6th, 1980 when Urban Cowboy was released, but close. We expect that was in 8th grade.
I think you're getting fed some information, aren't you?
No, that's just in the computer.
Oh, is that right? Okay. YMCA was a part of what went on. The Village People. You can see the Village People wearing that uniform, can't you? Breaking ball got him. John Buck down on strikes. That's 5 on the night for Brett Oberholzer.
Brett goes with the backdoor curveball after throwing some balls inside. And again, when he gets ahead in the count, he has some weapons to put the hitter away. Saunders up at the plate. Now you see the infield of the Astros shifting over to the right side.
I think it's some music a lot of times that will bring me back to a particular time. If I hear a given song on the radio, I can almost kind of see the sights and smell the smells of a particular time in my life.
I agree. Sirius XM, I listen to the 80s channel on occasion, and you get into the mid 80s when I was in high school and graduating high school. That's when music was a big part of my life.
Michael Saunders at the plate, struck out to end the first inning. MacArthur Park from Donna Summer was a big one that year. Ring my bell, Anita Ward. And another strikeout. That's 2 in a row here in the 4th inning. 6 on the night for Obi.
The Houston Astros host the 2014 Civil Rights game on Friday, May 30th at 7:10 p.m. against the Orioles. Ole Block will perform pregame, and the Astros will wear Houston Eagles jersey to honor the Negro Leagues. Get your tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS or Astros.com.
Another left-handed bat standing in, Dustin Ackley. He struck out in the second.
That pitch to Saunders was another left-on-left changeup.
The pitch has been quite effective for Obi tonight. He allowed the 2 runs in the first inning. Started things with a walk. Cano and Smoke had base hits. Kyle Seager hit a ground ball that produced the 2 runs. There was a throwing error on that ground ball by Mark Krause as he tried to start a double play.
Yeah, Obi's still looking for his breaking ball just a little bit. Has thrown a couple pretty good ones, but the changeup has been there all night.
Just popped up back of the plate. Here comes Castro toward the screen and tosses the mask. He makes the play, a 1-2-3 fourth. Brett Oberholzer has really started to deal now. AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealer. Your chance to save on a Corolla ends June 2nd. Hurry to buyatoyota.com. Pinball seems to be one of the themes of the night. Julia is a master pinballist.
Master?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
From what we're looking
I'm
at.
on the age of this thing. Not even. All right. It's been a while since I've played pinball.
Julia, we are even at 2 here in the 5th inning. Chris Carter leads it off, takes a strike. Brandon Morrow has had some very good stuff. Out in front, 0-2 on Carter. Carter popped to first in the 2nd. Talking about some of the music of 1979 as a drive goes down the left field side in the corner as this one goes foul. Looked like it had home run distance in the corner. The Bee Gees were big. The Pointer Sisters. Donna Summer. Even Rod Stewart was mixed in a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know about you, but Chris Carter put some pretty good passes on the ball when the ball is elevated some.
Well, I didn't do it nearly like Chris Carter. That much I can tell you. If that's what you're asking, and I know you're not, but I'm going to go ahead and go there anyway. 2-2 the count. Fastball line but foul. That's a good stroke by Carter on a tough pitch down and away. National League West, what did it look like in 1979 on this date? The Astros were battling along. 1979 saw the Astros at the All-Star break with a 10.5 game lead. The Reds eventually caught him, and catching this breaking ball is Carter. He drills it down the left field side. He'll jog it into second base. A leadoff double here in the 5th.
Mauer elevates the breaking ball where Carter can put a good swing on it, drives the ball down into the left field corner, and you see right here that ball's just belt high. Carter sees that pitch much better than he does the ball down, which most hitters do. Gets the good results, putting the ball in the corner with a stand-up double.
11 two-baggers on the year for Carter. It brings up Alex Presley. The Astros now with that leadoff double. You hope to get that all the time, and then you feel like you should at least be able to score a run. Presley flied to right field in the 2nd, took a very fine sliding catch by Michael Saunders to get him.
Yeah, Saunders, a very tall guy, does not look like he's running fast, but a lot like Dexter Fowler, covers a lot of ground with big loping strides. Closed on that ball very well.
Carter snapped an 0 for 12 with that double. Little ground ball is foul. Of course, the ground ball on the right side in this scenario plays quite well. You try to move the runner up and pick him up with less than 2 outs. Alex Presley has seen the batting average slide down to 203. Puts it on the ground right side. That does more. It finds a hole. Carter stops at third base, held up by Pat Listash, but Carter didn't even come around the bag as this ball went into right field. Back-to-back hits, a double and a single. The Astros have runners at the corners.
I think Chris Carter thought that Robinson Cano was going to get to this ball. He did not get a good second jump on this, and like you said, he didn't even round the bag, so Pat Listash had no choice but to put up the stop sign.
Problem is, you have your third base coach going down the line. That says, come on to me. Unless he's pointing at the bag, stay right there. You come around the bag and give yourself a chance to score in the event something goes wrong. So still nobody out. Jonathan Villar at the plate. And a ground ball to second. They bobble it. Cano does. Everybody, no, they get an out at second. Cano able to glove the ball eventually and step on the bag. It'll be an RBI fielder's choice for Villar. And that certainly appeared to be a double play ready to happen.
We do not see that from Robinson Cano very often at all. This guy is one of the best glove men, and that's even a high hop. That was, you know, basically belt high. It looks like Bo Porter is out talking to the umpire,
and well, he should be.
This was a close play that might be turned over.
I think Cano was beaten on this play. I believe the foot clearly.
I don't know if Robinson Cano ever got to the bag.
I'm wondering, did Presley get tagged? There may have been a tag on the play, because
I was looking at the feet.
In terms of the feet, Presley beat this play, I thought. A run scores. It's 3-2 Houston. 1 out here in the 5th. And back to the top with Altuve. So a fielder's choice for VR. He gets the RBI. And for VR, RBI number 16. Line drive down the right field side. It's another knock for Altuve. Big turn at first, and he'll hold there. Now coming to the plate is VR. And he will score. All the way from first base. How about that base running by Jonathan VR?
Alan, you're exactly right. Outstanding base running. He ran hard all the way, rounded third. When he saw the throw go to second base, he never let up and scored without a throw from Bloomquist at second base.
Boy, is that something from Altuve, the way he can just take a pitch away and shoot it away.
Mental mistake right there by Michael Saunders, throwing the ball to second base. This ball needs to be going towards home plate, and VR would stop. But when he saw that ball go to second base where there was no cutoff man, he just kept advancing to home.
Not very often you will see, certainly with less than 2 outs, a single score a man from first base, but that's what we have right here. And until we hear otherwise, we'll call it an RBI for Altuve. That would be his 17th of the year. Pitch out. Altuve's going nowhere. He leads the league in stolen bases. And of course, George Springer at the plate. George, a 2-run home run opposite field in the first inning. Number 5 on the year for Springer. He's also flied out to right. 4-2 Houston here in the 5th. The Astros trying to pick their first game of the series. A 4-gamer that ends with an afternoon game tomorrow. And a big swing and a towering drive, but hooked foul down the left field side. And that ball finds the upper tank.
Yeah, that ball's absolutely demolished. Just a little bit too quick. Got the barrel out in front and hooked it foul.
If you somehow think this guy doesn't have legit power, I would suggest that might not be accurate. And
obviously you're not paying attention.
His speed is outstanding. Don't know that he's the base stealer he was at minor league level last year, but oh man, it is just raw tools. A drive left field. See you later. A 2-run shot for George Springer. His first 2 home run game in the major leagues, and the Astros enjoy a 6-2 lead. George Springer is tearing it up here on this turn back the clock night.
I think the hip is okay.
I guess.
What a great short swing George Springer puts on the ball right here. And this isn't a majestic home run. This is a line drive shot off the back wall in the Astros bullpen.
Wow. You think he's not a welcome sight back in that lineup for Houston? And we've been saying it appears he's figuring it out. The Mariners will go to their bullpen now as Brandon Maurer is done with his night. Astros lead it 6-2.
right here. This is going to be all his home run swing. This is his first one in Detroit that was an opposite field shot. Got a ball out over the plate, didn't try and pull it. We're going to see him swing and pull a few, but what we're seeing here is a very consistent, balanced swing, short to the ball, long through the ball, and you can see where this guy hit the 37 jacks from last year. Just has tremendous power to all fields, and he is really calming down, slowing the game down. You know, the thoughts going through his head are at a much slower pace. And here, the first inning, the oppo shot to right field on a fastball out over the plate, and here he gets a fastball in, spins on the ball, and just hits an absolute missile line drive right over the Astros reliever's head into their bullpen.
Well, it was supposed to be turn back the clock night. It's turned into George Springer night.
It's turn around the fastball night for George Springer.
Well, I think I'll go ahead and throw his name at the top of things. Boy, he is something. It's the first time he's hit 2 dingers in a ball game. It's going to happen again, and he's not done with his night. We're just in the 5th inning. 6-2 Houston. The Astros lead in hits 6-3. Dexter Fowler at the plate, 0 for 2. He is also struck out.
Springer also has 4 RBIs on the night. Both of those shots are 2-run.
So right-hander Tom Wilhelmsen comes in out of the pen for Seattle. Working in his 21st game. Good ERA at 2.05. Allowing just 15 hits in 22 innings. And 1 long ball in that span. However, 12 walks allowed by the hard-throwing right-hander. For Brandon Maurer, we mentioned that he had good stuff tonight, at times very good, and yet it doesn't work out all that well. Maurer 4 1/3 innings, allows 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned, a walk and 2 strikeouts, 2 bombs given up to Springer.
Yeah, Maurer, we saw the radar gun get as high as 97, but just is not commanding his pitches. You saw the catcher reaching across his body a lot of times, which indicates that he's not hitting his spots.
Dexter Fowler draws the walk. Still nobody out. Take that back, 1 out here in the inning. It'll bring up cleanup man Jason Castro.
Here's the numbers on Wilhelmsen. You see the 22 innings and only 15 hits, but too many walks with 12. Left-handers swing the bat a little bit better than right-handers, but this was a guy that last year, Ash, was actually the closer for this Mariners club and just got off to a rocky start, and they brought in spring training and went out and brought in Fernando Rodney.
Double play depth in the infield. And now Wilhelmsen has his mind on Fowler. Wilhelmsen, known as the bartender. And again turns and fires to first. I think a lot of pitchers have that association of Dexter Fowler and base stealing game. Fowler is by no means the big guy in that regard with Houston. The Astros a very good base stealing club.
Springer is tied for second on the club now in home runs with 6. He's tied with Castro and Carter. And Matt Dominguez actually leading the team with 7. But it looks like with George Springer, when he gets on a roll, he might be able to put some pretty big numbers up in a hurry, hit some home runs in bunches.
Well, it's an intriguing set of stats because Springer is just playing in his 33rd game. Matt Dominguez in his 49th, for example. Swing and a miss by Castro, down on strikes. Or rather, he took a walk off there and sucked me in with him. Counted a ball and a strike. A little premature on my part. Castro 0 for 2 on the night with a strikeout. But
just a little reverse psychology there
for George Springer. Just nowhere close to the number of at-bats, and so he's really starting to make his move.
Well, one thing we also are seeing with George is the strikeout numbers seem to be going down. He still does swing and miss, but it looks like he's doing a much better job, especially when he gets 2 strikes, of cutting down that big swing. Not saying choking up or anything crazy like that, but not really having that big off-balance swing when he gets behind.
Yeah, I don't think at any point are we going to see George Springer become a choke up and flare it the other way guy.
A choke
with a
and
couple
poke
strikes.
guy? Yeah, I don't think so.
2 balls and a strike on Castro. Astros having a little offensive fun tonight, and now Rick Waits, the pitching coach, is going to come out to the mound. And the offensive fun hasn't been a part of the program here in the last few days for Houston bats.
No, it seemed like Weaver kind of put them in a little mini slump, because prior to that game they had several games in a row of at least 10 or more hits.
Of course, you can look at a couple of the games where they struggled, and not counting the Weaver game, no George Springer.
Right.
You had Springer in the Weaver game. He had one of the hits on the night, and that was a home run, providing the only run of the night.
Well, a couple of those games they went against some pretty good pitchers. Weaver was one of them. You saw King Felix last night throw the ball extremely well.
Strike on the outside edge. 2-2 the count. Yeah, but I think that that bunch over there, the Astros in the third base dugout here in Seattle, know they need this guy. He's quickly becoming, if not the man, the guy that likely becomes the man soon. And he's had his struggles, no question. Slider is popped up. Left side. Seager, the third baseman. He'll make the catch. Second out here in the inning. Brings up Matt Dominguez. Yeah, one of the concerns I had with Springer was with the injury, if he had to miss any large amount of time. For me, I felt like he was starting to get it.
Yeah.
And I thought that should he miss a good portion of time, that he might have to go back to square one. But missing just 2 games, obviously, he hasn't missed a beat.
Well, I know he tried to sell Julia a couple days ago that he was completely healthy. And actually the very next day, the first day here in Seattle, Bo was going to give him a day off, ended up giving him 2 days off, and looks like it was a pretty good idea.
Just saw the eyes of Matt Dominguez kind of glancing around the field. He's got a big hole on the right side. Semi shift on for Seattle. And a 1-1 count. Second baseman Cano playing on the first base side of second, but almost behind the bag.
You see Bloomquist kind of playing in that 5-6 hole, expecting Dominguez to pull the good fastball of Wilhelmsen. He just does not look comfortable out there right now with his mechanics and his command.
Now, I've wondered about teams offensively when a change is coming. Guys will work in the cage with the hitting coach telling them different scenarios. Here it is, man on third base, less than 2 outs, man on first, hitting runs on. Now, with Fowler going, the pitch is low and they won't even bother throwing to second base. It'll be a stolen base for Dexter, his 6th on the year.
A little cage situational hitting.
But where I was going to go with that, as John Buck goes out to the hill chatting with Wilhelmsen, is when will teams start saying, okay, the shift is on, there's nobody on the right side or the left side for you, and start working on putting a ground ball through that side? When does that happen?
That's a great question and a good point, only because we're seeing so many teams now use these defensive matrix to put their defensive players in positions that they feel like they're going to hit the ball regardless of what the pitch was.
2-out walk, second walk issued by Wilhelmsen, and it brings up the 9th hitter of the inning. That's Mark Krause. Yeah, it just seems like the logical step in batting practice. You do everything else. You prepare for this scenario and that. Why not the shift?
Sure. It does make sense. I mean, we've seen guys like Prince Fielder before he went down with the injury. And we were in Arlington. He just wore out Jose Altuve in short right field, and then when they came to Minute Maid Park, we actually saw him inside out a couple balls and take what the defense was giving him.
Yeah, we've seen a number of guys do it. There's a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of guys in the Tiger series at Minute Maid do that.
Angels had success early on in the season. Yeah, it's you try to get as much advantage as you can defensively. So why not offensively try to take the same advantage?
It does make sense, especially with guys on base.
Little looper into right center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Here comes Fowler. He will score without a throw. Moving into third base is Dominguez. RBI single Krause. And the Astros enjoying their night. It's 7-2 Houston.
Nice job by Mark Krause. Getting a ball on the inside part of the plate. Didn't hit it well. Got it up on the label just a little bit. But hit it in no man's land in right center field. Dexter Fowler and Matt Dominguez doing a nice job advancing 2 bases. Fowler scoring.
For Mark Krause, RBI number 12. Brings up Chris Carter, who got the whole inning started. The Astros have put 5 on the board here in the 5th inning. Carter had a double as he raked one down the left field side. So Chris 1 for 2 on his night.
Chris Carter actually started off this inning with a double down the left field line.
Fastball blown by. It's a ball and a strike.
Haven't had too many innings like this, Ash. This is the 10th hitter of the inning for the Astros.
Those 5-run innings are hard to come by a lot of the time, and they sure are nice when you get them. Carter pops it up. That'll find the seats back of the screen. John Buck couldn't see it initially. And George Springer.
Brett Oberholzer will definitely take this. We were talking in the pregame about him not getting any run support.
Springer looked like a guy who's nervous?
No, not really, no.
And again, fouling it to the seats on the right side is Carter. One and two the count. 7-2 Houston on top. Little squibber back to the mound. Wilhelmsen makes the play and just lobs onto first. That does it for Houston. They send 10 to the plate and 5 cross. And George Springer plays a big part once again.
AT&T Rewind. We're going to take a look at Brett Overholzer so far this evening. Has done a good job. Hasn't controlled the curveball all that well, but has a devastating changeup. And he's actually got some run support tonight. We haven't seen this very often. In the past starts for Obi this year is only averaging a little less than 2 runs per game as far as the offense is concerned. So with that 5 spot, having a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th is a little bit of uncharted waters for Brett.
So he hits the bottom of the 5th inning now with a 7-2 lead. Getting that likely spot start coming back up with the club. Throwing strikes, allowed 2 runs in the 1st inning. But he has really settled down since. 6 strikeouts on his night. Shortstop Willie Bloomquist leads it off, has an 0-2 count. So, Mike, did you own a Walkman at any time in your life?
I did.
With it being turned back the clock night. 1979, Sony introduced the Walkman. That actually was in Japan at the time. I remember this awfully well as the ground ball goes foul outside of first. 1979, Michael Jackson released Off the Wall.
Okay.
Seattle Mariners in 1979 were scuffling a bit. Of course, the Astros presently at 17-32 know the feel of that.
About that 12 games behind the Minnesota Twins.
You know, in recent seasons, the Twins have had their problems, but go back just a little ways. They were a ball club that, with smaller payrolls, has really done quite well through the years.
Yeah, have a couple World Series championships, 87, 91.
Have you ever watched a channel by the call letters of ESPN? I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I think I might have browsed over it on occasion.
They launched the first cable sports channel in 1979.
I do remember that.
I remember thinking, how can you do sports all day long? 24 hours. It's just not possible. There's no NFL draft that you could cover that long. But it's coming.
I think they've done pretty well with talking sports all the time.
Just popped up down the right side. Mark Krause into foul territory. He'll make the catch. First out here in the 5th inning. Back to the top with leadoff man James Jones.
Alan, to go back to that point about the run support for Brett Overholzer, in his previous 7 starts, the Astros have scored a grand total of 12 runs.
Yeah, it's gotten a bit better for Obi here this evening. It's amazing what you can do when the team scores a few runs for you.
I'm sure it allowed him to take a deep breath and doesn't have to pitch quite so fine.
Can you imagine what a night like tonight, the impact has on your minor league system when they can glance at box scores following the game and see what George Springer has done? To me, that's huge with guys to realize, you know what, I'm closer than I think.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. And I think that with the way social media is and how everything is instantaneously on the internet, makes it just that much easier for these guys to check on their buddies.
Swing and a miss, pitch in the dirt. Castro throws on down to first base. 7th strikeout now for Obi. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Stephen Romero, the DH, will stand in. Brett Overholzer is flat dealing right now.
Look at the breaking ball right there down below the zone after throwing several fastballs. You see Jones well out in front, but since the ball did bounce, Castro tried to tag Johnson, wasn't going to get in a foot race down, just go ahead and throw the ball down to Mark Krause for the out.
Romero has walked and scored and grounded out. Do you remember who was in the World Series in 1979? And I don't want to put you on a spot.
I'm going to guess.
Well, let me just say, we are family.
We are family. Okay. That was Pittsburgh, wasn't it?
That was the Pirates. They beat the Baltimore Orioles, the vaunted Baltimore Orioles. Willie Stargell obviously playing a big part in that one. 1-2 now on the two-hitter Romero.
I was actually going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals as one of them, but obviously that would have been wrong.
And down on strikes Romero. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. 8 on the night for Brett Oberholzer, enjoying a 7-2 lead.
Awesome Astros prizes, from autographed baseballs to game day tickets and more. Just tweet at CSN Houston, hashtag CSN Baseball Sweeps, and you can win Houston Astros prizes. That's now through May 31st from CSN.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, a lot of fans having fun tonight. Turn back the clock night, and a lot have dressed up for the occasion. Not him, but others have.
I'm sure the wig store around here is trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Set an all-time high of number of afros sold in one day.
We go to the 6th inning. Alex Presley leads it off. He's the 8-hitter. The Astros had a 10-man 5th inning, scoring 5 times, turning a 2-2 tie into this 7-2 lead. We've been digging into the movies of 1979 on the turn back the clock night. 2-0 the count. Tom Wilhelmsen, the second pitcher of the night for Seattle. Do you remember Alien? That was one of the biggies that year.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yes. Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Just got word from
with the ferret that jumps out of her stomach.
Carl let me know right away that was Ridley Scott, the director. Apocalypse Now.
Another good one. Yeah.
There was Mad Max. For you serious movie watchers, there was Meatballs. A 3-1 count to Presley. 1979 saw the Astros have some pretty good players that year. Joaquin Andujar, Joe Niekro, Joe Sambito, and Craig Reynolds made the All-Star squad.
Joe Sambito, left-handed. Was he starting at the time?
Reliever.
Reliever.
All the way, and Joe was a very good one. Joe Niekro put back-to-back 20-game-plus winning seasons together starting in '79. Joe Niekro, who has since passed away, just a wonderful guy, and a guy that, in my opinion, has been overlooked in terms of his greatness. Again, 79 and 80, I believe, were the years. 20 21 and 20 wins in those years in some order, and he was just really something.
Well, you were telling me earlier the Niekro brothers, both knuckleballers, but they threw them differently.
Phil Niekro with Atlanta threw a soft, big butterfly, and it just kind of swerved all over through the air. Joe threw it hard. Joe came to the big leagues as a non-knuckleball pitcher, so he had a legit arm at one time, and he threw the knuckleball hard, and it just drove me legitimately off the map. Pulverized my fingers.
I had Phil. Phil was a coach with the Atlanta Braves. He was not the guy you wanted to hit PFP. Throwing that slow, oh my gosh, yeah. Throwing that slow knuckleball, he used to get rockets hit back at him, so he felt everybody should be able to field it.
Ball 4 outside. A 1 out, or rather a leadoff walk to Presley here in the 6th inning. That'll bring up Jonathan Villar.
Fans, follow every Astros game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile device, your phone or your tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB TV game of the day or more. Download on the App Store or visit Astros.com today.
Villar on the night 0 for 2. He scored a run, and that was some kind of base running in the 5th inning from first base, scoring on a single down the right field side by Jose Altuve. But it's been really Brett Oberholzer and George Springer tonight in any order you desire. George Springer, a couple of bombs, numbers 5 and 6. He's up to 19 ribbies already. Strike is called. 0-2 on Villar. I have to say, I'm having a hard time kind of recognizing Villar in this uniform.
Yeah, I think he's got the 3/4 spikes on, and it just doesn't look exactly right with the stirrups.
Keep thinking it's Rafael Landistor.
And those are real stirrups. Look at that.
Yeah, they are.
They're not the socks that have the stirrups kind of sewn in.
Nice job by John Buck keeping it in front. 2-2 the count. We even have the wave going on here at Safeco Field. When did the wave begin? What's the first year for the wave? I can tell you that the movie 10 with Bo Derek was a biggie. Dudley Moore as well in 1979.
With the cornrow hair.
Not for Dudley Moore.
No. He had the nice sweats going in that one.
A lot of good stuff. Apparently 1979 was a better year than I realized at the time. Hunter goes, pitches outside, and ball 4. So back-to-back walks here issued by Wilhelmsen. He is struggling with his command. That's his 4th walk already.
Alan, we're going to take a little look at Jose Altuve's spray chart right here. And we talked about it before, how he uses the whole field. And you see this right here. Other than the changeup, he has hit every pitch in literally every field. And it's really one of the things that makes him so special is his ability to put the ball on the bat and just hit the ball hard. See right here, fastball up and out over the plate, not try and pull, off balance swing, but again, his eye-hand coordination is just spectacular. Drives the ball down the right field line with an RBI on it.
So Altuve 1 for 2 on his night. He's also drawn a walk. Well, he's doing the right things right now. 67 hits to lead. Swings through the curveball. The wave, we're told, from Carl Patterson. came into being in 1981, October 15th, by Crazy George. You may remember him. He was Crazy George for the Houston Oilers, the Love You Blue, back in those days, but he was also working for the Oakland A's at the time, and that's where it began.
Actually, I do remember him, Crazy George Henderson.
Yep.
Would he be the precursor to the baseball cheerleader?
Not in looks. Yeah, Crazy George, you probably recall, like I do, was a big part of Love You Blue.
Yes, he was, yeah. Bum Phillips, Earl Campbell.
Ground ball left side. That's a base hit. Altuve will see the runners move up 90 feet. And so his second hit of the night, 68th of the year. And you don't want to lose that love and feeling right there.
You see another curveball right here from Wilhelmsen. It's down the middle, up just a little bit. Jose Altuve swung at the first pitch. Curveball was in a much better location. They hit the ball too hard for Presley to score, but chalk up another hit for Jose Altuve.
Rick Waite's the pitching coach out to the mound. And I don't know what you say at this point, but I've heard some pitching coaches say, we need you to get some innings for us right now. And so we're going to leave you out here. Find a way. Make it happen. Joe Beimel, the left-hander, loosening in the pen for Seattle.
Alan, as far as Wilhelmsen is concerned, this is all about the control and command of his pitches. Big guy, throws hard, has very good stuff. Former closer. He's just spending too much time up in the zone and on the plate.
George Springer at the plate. He has made his presence felt tonight. Slider in the dirt, kicks away from Buck, and a run will score on the wild pitch. Coming in from third base alertly, Alex Presley. That makes it 8-2 Houston, and the other runners move up 90 feet.
Alex, you're right. Alex Presley, great job of a secondary lead and then immediately going when he sees the ball get away from Joe Buck. Joe tried to glove this ball, didn't go down and block it. And you see Presley right here break immediately, not even really a play at the plate. Good aggressive base running.
So Presley has scored. VR now at third. Altuve at second base. George Springer with a 1-0 count. Could it be one of those nights? 2-0 the count. I think the Mariners are going to remember George Springer. And I know there are a lot of scouts around watching this guy. I would love to see what they've written in their books.
Alan, his demeanor even at the plate, in between pitches, everything has slowed down. He looks like he's much more relaxed, much calmer at the plate. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've started seeing some of the success of hitting the ball hard.
Not to mention the fact that he is terribly talented and strong. Fastball's in for a strike. It's 3-1. It's kind of jugular time right now, and I wouldn't have minded seeing Springer take the hack on that 3-0 fastball. Slider hit on the ground is short. This is going to score a run. Springer's thrown out 6-3, but another RBI, his fifth on the night, 20 on the season, 9-2 Houston.
Wilhelmsen, knowing what Springer's done on the day, actually goes with the 3-1 slider. George out in front of it just a little bit, but did a good job putting the ball in play, picking up the RBI.
Holding at second is Altuve. 2 outs. Couple of runs in here in the inning. New season high with the 9 runs. So that's great stuff for the club. Oh, and 1 on Fowler, who drew a walk in the 5-run fifth. 0 for 2 on his night. It's also stolen a base, number 6. drills one, but handled by Cano. That's the second out of the inning. Robinson Cano immediately looking to see if he had a shot at the double play at second. But that's good base running by Altuve.
And Altuve actually puts a hand up to tell Robbie not to throw the ball as he's going back to second base.
Don't drill me.
That's right.
Fowler stings it. And now Jason Castro comes to the plate, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Hitting .219. So the Astros with a pair of home runs tonight, both compliments of George Springer. The Astros as a club now with 52. That 5 RBIs mentioned on Springer, a career high for George. That's compliments of Mike Stanton. 52 dingers for the club. That ties for third best in the league.
John Hook wanted that pitch. That looked like a pretty good fastball on the inside part of the plate. Castro got the call. I'm not exactly sure where he called that one, but Castro will say thank you.
In a 9-2 ball game, a lot of times you'll see the strike zone loosen up a bit. 2-1 the count. The Toronto Blue Jays lead the league in home runs with 68 at the start of play tonight.
Wow, that's a big number.
Followed by the White Sox and then the Houston Astros and the LA Angels.
Toronto with a couple big boppers in the middle.
Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion. 3-1 the count. Wilhelmsen is just not finding the strike zone.
It's probably why he didn't get the pitch a couple pitches ago that we saw the replay on. He's kind of just all over the place.
Six home runs in the month of May for George Springer. And on the 3-1, that fastball gets thrown by. Two runs in the first, 5 in the fifth, and 2 here in the 6th inning for Houston. Strike 3 called at the knees, outside edge. So Castro down on strikes. It's been a long night for him, but the Astros offense has come to life as they lead 9-2.
2 Astros on top. This season at Minute Maid Park, every Friday night home game is followed by spectacular fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is Friday, May 30th against the Orioles. Get your tickets by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Guys.
Thanks a lot, Julia. Brett Oberholzer very good tonight. George Springer in the offense very good tonight. And boy, Obi has to be thrilled to see some runs on the board on his side tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You see the 12 runs in his previous 7 starts and then 9 tonight. To tell you the truth, he would probably rather them. Let's try and hold on to a couple of those. Maybe we can put them towards the next start.
So Obi works it with a 9-2 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Robinson Cano, Justin Smoke, and Kyle Seager. I'm talking about some of the things the Astros are doing well offensively. The home runs, stolen bases with the bag they picked up by Fowler tonight. They have 38 bags, and that ties Detroit and KC atop the league. So are some elements coming along nicely. Another base hit here, this one by Cano, his 2nd of the night. Well, he can hang it out. It doesn't matter righty or lefty on the hill.
No, and that's why he's one of the superstars in the sport. You know about the big contract. When he gets a ball that he can handle, he just puts a great swing on it almost every time.
How long did you play with him, Mike?
Oh, several years.
Is he one of those teammates that is a guy you'd call a leader on the club?
Well, back then he wasn't, but you have to remember the team that he was on. He came up as a second baseman on a very veteran team that had won several World Series in New York, and he didn't really have to be. He was a quiet guy. He's got a nice sense of humor. A lot of Yankee fans were on top of him about his lack of hustle when he runs down to first base on occasion on a ground ball. But the one thing you can't complain about Robinson Cano, the talent and the fact that he plays every single day.
There's that changeup again. 0-2 the count. Yeah, the body language, I think, gets confused with some guys. And I think with Robinson, it probably has been what's led a lot of people to think that he doesn't play with intensity. But his swing offensively and his defense, which can look lackadaisical, just outstanding.
Yeah, and the way he plays defense, and we just saw right there, he's only missed 14 games in over 1,800 chances. I mean, you look at his games played, he's over 160 all the time. But I agree with you. The way he goes about his business, I think sometimes can be taken in the wrong way, that he's not really hustling. He's just that good. The talent level of it just off the chart.
And yet we compared tonight the numbers with Jose Altuve, and Altuve standing up quite well.
He definitely is. I think salary-wise, Altuve might be a little bit of a bargain compared.
Yeah, he's trailing in that regard,
just
I think.
Just a touch.
Yeah. Of course,
Altuve, a handful of zeros.
Yeah. Altuve signed a multi-year deal last year. Shift on defensively, and the pitch hit to right field in the air. Springer back and then back in and toward the line to make the catch. First out here in the 6th. With one out, it brings up Kyle Seager. Seager hit the ground ball in the first inning that led to the 2 Seattle runs. Mark Krause tried to come up with a double play that would have ended the inning, firing to second base, but threw it away into left field. 2 runs scored, and that tied the game at 2 at the time after Springer had hit that 2-run home run in the first inning. But it's been all Astros since.
They did everything right on that play except make the good throw. He didn't have lazy feet.
Line drive's going to drop in center field. So left-hand hitters really having a reasonable night. In fact, a pretty good night against Obi tonight.
Great guests, hot topics, and no holes barred debate. Kevin Eichenfelder serves it up every single night on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Brings up the catcher, John Buck. $21,585 on hand. Are they starting to get Mariner fever here in Seattle? Oh, pretty good crowd last night. They've had their problems with attendance in recent years. They've got a club that's a game over 500 now.
This is an organization that has been plagued with lack of offense over the last several years. And actually in this area, you've seen the Seattle Seahawks kind of take over as the Seattle team.
Well, they've kind of taken over as the NFL team.
That is true, at least for this year.
Russell Wilson doing national commercials now, and I mean they've got some guys that lit up the football world last year. Pete Carroll, a coach, what a job he's done. 0-2 pitch in the dirt.
We can actually see the top of CenturyLink Field, which is actually lit up in blue and green of the Seattle Mariners, or Seattle Seahawks.
That's right over the left field bleachers here at Safeco.
One of the loudest stadiums when it's full in a big game. One of the loudest stadiums in all the country.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have said in terms of the NFL, the loudest. I guess that's subjective. Line shot just over Altuve into center field. Being stopped at third is Cano. That'll load him up. 3 hits here in the inning against Brett Oberholzer. Cano, Seager, and Buck all with hits, and that's
center cut. That's up down the middle. All 3 hits have been squared up very well, all of them to Dexter Fowler in center. Darren Downs is in the pen for the Houston Astros.
So Bo Porter gets the left-hander up. And Brent Strom's going to come out and buy a little time.
You see right there, Obi at 90 pitches came into this inning with 78.
How do you feel as a former pitcher, a relief pitcher, about the ploy of buying time, pitching coaches going out to the mound and that sort of thing?
I think it's a lot of times is very unnecessary. I think that one of the first things that pitchers have to learn as relievers is how to warm up correctly. And I think that we've seen with this Astros club, Bo Porter go out or Brett Strom go out to buy time, and the relievers are actually ready.
Last year that was the case quite a few times, yes.
I mean, you look at Downs out there right now, he's just standing there. He is ready. But I think they would like to try and get Obi through this inning.
Leadoff strike on Michael Saunders, who has struck out twice on the night. And now down on the count 0-2. So this would be a big second out for Obi. Tries to get him with the high heat. As the train rolls in, the station right out beyond the right and center field walls.
Actually, the roof in this stadium, when they pull it back, actually goes out behind the right field wall, and I think there's train tracks underneath it.
Hot shot on a hop off the glove of Kraus. They'll get it out at second as Altuve just does what Altuve does. Alertly getting an out. A run scores, but 2 down now in the inning. Robinson Cano crossing the plate. It's 9-3, but a heck of a reaction by Altuve.
Alan, you cannot teach that. That's just baseball instincts. He doesn't panic whatsoever, sets his feet and makes a good throw to Villar chest high.
3-4-6 on this force play. RBI to Michael Saunders. Saunders with 16 on his season. Runners now at the corners. That's Seager, the lead runner, and Saunders at first. The tapper is fouled by the left-hand hitting Dustin Ackley. This is very much a left-hand hitting dominated lineup for Seattle. You wonder in the end, do you want to have that many left-hand hitters being forced to face left-hand pitching over the course of the year?
Well, I think it is definitely an issue. I think it's one of the reasons why Rudy Owens got called up last night. Brett Oberholzer tonight.
Cano, Seager, Saunders, and Ackley in tonight's lineup, all left-hand hitters.
And not just left-handed hitters, it's also their power hitters.
Guys they're counting on to drive in runs. Ground ball, Altuve to his right, throws on to first base, and that does it. Jose Altuve continues to be immaculate defensively, and Obi is the beneficiary.
This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. Ash, I promised you earlier a little warm, fuzzy feeling. Does this remind you of anything?
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that night. LA Dodgers first game of that 5-game series, best of 5 series. And I believe it was the 10th inning. Greg Reynolds said, come up as a pinch hitter with 2 outs in front of me. And I had somehow said, if you get on base, I'm going to drive you in. And
look at you part the waters right there.
Yeah. First time and only time in my life the waters parted.
Look at those blonde locks and that wonderful mustache.
Yeah. Those mustaches are kind of special, aren't they?
You wore it well.
Yeah, I see a lot of faces there with the Astros back in that 1981 season. And just great memories. Bill Burton, of course, the outstanding manager. Deacon Jones, there's Joe Sambito, and Phil Garner, Dave Smith, the all-time saves leader, Vern Rule, and Frank LaCourte, Joe Niekro. So many of the guys. Great memories.
Great names, yeah.
Thanks, gang. Matt Dominguez leads it off here in the 7th. It's 9-3 now, the Astros on top. Dominguez followed by Kraus and Carter, and the left-hander Joe Beimel comes on to work it now for Seattle.
Do you remember what the pitch was?
I believe it was a fastball. Dave Stewart on the hill. He was known for having some pretty good stuff. Became a rather successful starter in his career. Little pop-up, shallow in right field. Watch Cano make it. Also had the privilege of catching some pretty good pitchers through the years. One of the no-hitters I caught, that of Mike Scott. That was the fattest pitch of the night. The final pitch thrown as Will Clark grounded out. And I could see that pitch.
There's 1-4 in the middle.
I could see that pitch getting hit over and over in my head. But it didn't happen, thank goodness. Mike Scott, great friend of mine, and he would have one later, a year later, I believe, 2 outs in the 9th inning that got away from him. Nolan Ryan 1 out in the 9th inning, had one get away. Mike Schmidt got a base hit. Ken Oberkfell with a pinch hit with 2 outs against Mike Scott to break up a no-hitter. And of course, I had some aspirations. In either case, it would have been number 4 for me at that time. Would have been the king of the hill. But yeah,
Mike Scott, what a filthy split finger he had.
Yeah, great stuff. Jesus Guzman comes up as a pinch hitter now for Mark Krause. Those were really amazing days with that pitching staff.
Here's the number for Joe Beimel. 257, 14 innings, 14 hits. It's his 17th game on the season. There's a guy last offseason, after having a couple very good years with the Dodgers, was one of those guys that was kind of left out right at the beginning of spring training. Just could not find a job.
Left-handers have a way of finding a job at some point. Ball hit off the end of the bat by Guzman. Cano with the play, rather nonchalantly, but gets the out. 2 down here in the 7th.
There's a big Jim Deshaies right here. Has a little bit of hair, which that has gone away, but
well, I'll tell you what he had was some hair on the fastball that night. He struck out the first 8 Dodgers of the night. Tommy Lasorda went to his bench and brought on a pinch hitter for the pitcher, who made contact and snapped the string, but 8 consecutive strikeouts.
Jim Deshaies, big guy, had a good fastball, but because he was so big and how he came over the top, could not get on top of that high fastballs. Those hitters just swung underneath it time and time again.
There were nights for JD that he wouldn't get a whole lot of velocity, but that fastball you described would still give hitters a tough time. And they would turn to me sometimes and say, "Is that a changeup?" No, that's the heat. Get ready.
I remember watching a game in 1990 in the Astrodome. Jim Deshaies against Charlie Leibrandt. The hardest pitch of the night was an 82-mile-an-hour slider by Charlie Leibrandt.
From either pitcher, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there were some of those nights.
And I think it was a 3-2, 2-1 ball game. It lasted probably about 2:30.
Ground ball hit to third base side, backhanded by Seager. The throw is offline and not a good one at all. So Chris Carter will get himself an infield single. And I would say that Seager probably had a chance to get the feet in a little better position.
He was playing a little bit in that 5-6 hole, so when he came towards the ball down the line, you can see he's not actually coming straight down the line. He's running away towards the third base dugout.
But you look where Carter is, and I mean, he's not reasonably close to the bag as the ball gets in that vicinity.
Chris Carter runs very hard, just not very fast.
I played in that league. 2-out base hit for Carter. Hit number 9 for Houston. It brings up Alex Presley. Hey, you know, I remember the no-hitter for Mike Scott, and of course Nolan's no-hitter, even Ken Forsch. The Jim Deshaies night, a whole lot better than any nights that might have been viewed as individual for me, I would just say those nights where pitchers stood out and got their jobs done were the most memorable of nights, other than possibly postseason games for me. Oh, and 2 the count. This guy was kind of good.
He threw pretty hard. There's Ash behind the plate.
So he had the great fastball that we all know about. He had a changeup that became unhittable at times.
And then that overhand curve.
Yeah, he could drop the yacker in there. I recall hearing him call it an anaconda at a couple of different times.
An anaconda.
Yeah, fastball line left field side. That drops for a hit. Nice hitting by Alex Presley. Carter stops at second. Back-to-back 2-out hits, bringing up the 9-hitter Jonathan VR. Jose Cruz was one of the great hitters of those Astros clubs, and I mean, he could do anything.
Very unorthodox swing, but just had an incredible talent of barreling the ball.
Look, I will tell you that Jose Cruz was the guy that we marveled at, because in batting practice he could almost make up his mind what he was going to do for a night. He would choose to hit some line drives, and they look like right-hand hitters' line drives down the left field line, or he could turn and launch toward right field. This guy could swing the bat with anybody, in my assessment, in the game at that time. He may not have the numbers of some of the absolute greatest, but Jose Cruz could swing the bat with the best.
And as an opponent, you saw that last one right there, a fastball neck high.
Oh, it didn't matter for Jose. If you wanted to try to throw spin about, well, he's getting some good pitches to hit right now, nonsense. Kept his hands back, and he could hit anything.
Never saw a pitch he didn't like.
There was never one that he couldn't hit. I know that.
Reminds me a lot of, more recently, Vladimir Guerrero.
And may I say, 1980 it was. We had the 163rd game against the Dodgers. We went out to L.A. with a 3-game lead, 3 games left in the season, lost all 3 games, and had to come back for that 163rd game to see who would get into the postseason. And we wound up beating the Dodgers, but before the ball game, the big question in my mind was what was going to happen in the clubhouse before hitting the field. Would Bill Verdon have a big serious meeting? How would things go down? It turned out that Jose Cruz got up on a table and danced for the boys. And it was hilarious. And we got a big laugh, went out on the field, great mindset, and went and beat the Dodgers.
Loosen everything up.
It was just one of those times that, you know, I imagine a lot of people thought, oh boy, no doubt here's what was said in the clubhouse. But it was all about having a laugh together, and I mean, it was a big one. Slider foul back. VR 0 for 2 on the night, has scored a couple of runs.
John Buck taking that one off of his right shoulder.
VR in an 0 for 16 skid. Count stays at a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, we're on this turn back the clock night, 1979. Black and Decker introduced the Dust Buster. Did you get one at that time?
I don't think my mother did. Here's one. Have a Coke and a smile.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think Mean Joe was. I don't think it was the year of Mean Joe in the commercial yet in '79, was it? Could have been. Was it?
I'm sure this one pertained to you. Nothing gets between me and my Calvin Kleins.
Oh, it had nothing to do with me. Nothing whatsoever. Hey Kid. It was Mean Joe. Let's see. 1979, we mentioned the Pirates winning the World Series. The Steelers won the Super Bowl. And so that was the year that Mean Joe picked up that commercial. I'm not sure, but it sure sounds good right about now.
Here's one more for you. AT&T. Reach out and touch someone.
Oh, that was a big one. Yeah, I'm getting the thumbs up on the Mean Joe. So that it would have been, let's see, October 1st, 1979 was the debut of Mean Joe saying, "Hey kid." Tossed the jersey. And
you mentioned the movie earlier, Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning, Robert Duvall.
Fly ball shallow into center field. Coming on is Jones. He'll get there and make the catch. VR flies out. That does it for Houston in the 7th. They get a couple of hits. There's the Astrodome. What a great sight that was in those days.
Eighth wonder of the world.
Field. And just like we promised earlier, it's time to present our AT&T fan photo of the game. It's going to be H-Town Ball today. Remember to tweet your photos to hashtag CSNHFanPhoto. It's brought to you by AT&T. I am with a couple of huge Astros fans right here. Carol and Chad rocking the rainbow. You guys look like you can play. You match the team perfectly tonight. And they match each other, and they're also matching every series or every game this series, right? They live in Seattle, so every day you're coming up with matching uniforms.
It's key. It's key. You got to match.
This is good stuff. Well, I mentioned huge Astros fan. You said you actually remember a little bit of the Astros play. You don't look old enough to remember what's going on, but you actually remember these uniforms?
Oh yeah, I left my heart in the Astrodome.
Okay, Ash, if you're paying attention, Carol here wore your jersey last year. She does not have it on right now, but she will be wearing it tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the plan.
So tell her,
have it on.
Ask her, is the Ashby uni passe right now?
He's asking about the. Is it what?
Is it passe?
Is it passe? Is the Ashby jersey passe?
No. We just had a sequence of jerseys, and tomorrow is Sunday's the best day anyway.
Okay, I'll look forward to it, Julia. Thanks a lot. And they look good in the unis. Darren Downs comes on to work it here in the 7th inning as Brett Oberholzer is done. And we'll get to his numbers in just a moment. But Willie Bloomquist spoils the 7th inning with a base hit to start it. For Brett Oberholzer, 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned is what they have listed so far. 1 walk and 8 big strikeouts. 97 pitches, solid night for Brett.
Definitely a good return. Got off a little bit to the rocky start, giving up the 2 in the first, but settled down nicely and really started showing that good changeup in the middle of this game.
Jesus Guzman defensively at first base after coming on as a pinch hitter. James Jones has singled in 3 at-bats and stolen a base, his 3rd of the year. 1979 saw Victoria's Secret open their first store. Breaking ball. Got him looking. Jones down on strike, 2nd time tonight. First out here in the 7th inning. It's 9 strikeouts by Houston pitching.
1979 saw New Orleans PD cancel Mardi Gras because the police department was on strike. I'm sure there were some people not very happy about that.
I'm sure. They probably held their own party anyway. ABC's Nightline premiered. You may recall that all began with the hostage taking in Iran.
Here's a big one for NASA. The Columbia was delivered to Kennedy Space Center. That was the first working space shuttle.
Which has popped up on the right side. Guzman into foul territory, now backing, and finally has to fall on his tail section to make the play. So when it's all said and done, a big smile and an out. 2 down here in the 7th.
See some of the brightest upcoming stars in baseball as the Corpus Christi Hooks take on the San Antonio Bisons at Minute Maid Park Tuesday, June 10th. Get your tickets today. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com.
Robinson Cano is 2 for 3 on his night. Struck out in the 3rd inning in between a couple of singles, and he scored 2 of the 3 Seattle runs. Ground ball right side, glove by Altuve. Take his time and get his man. Jose Altuve just keeps playing errorless ball and just keeps swinging the stick.
Field and every Thursday home game at Minute Maid Park. The season is Dollar Dog Thursday. The next chance to feast on Dollar Dogs is Thursday, May 29th against the Baltimore Orioles. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Look who it is. Evel Knievel. I think earlier he was John Travolta.
You know, that seemed to change his facial structure a bit after all the broken bones, apparently.
He is a master of disguise.
Look at him go.
Yeah, that's not what he looked like when he first jumped. But he did become a better dancer in the process.
What year was it that Evel Knievel tried to jump the Grand Canyon? Let's see if we can find that. Do you remember the build-up for that?
Oh, yeah.
And he made it about a fifth.
Well, he had the parachute and the whole bit.
Right. The good drama camera work of the camera on the family, and they didn't come anywhere close to halfway.
No, it didn't quite work out. Right-hander Dominic Leone will come on now to work it here in the 8th inning. Face the top of the order: Altuve, Springer, and Fowler. See if Bo Porter goes to his bench at all. Seattle has done so a bit. Franklin is now the shortstop. Bloomquist, the shortstop, moves over to second as Robinson Cano takes the rest of the night off. And Jose Altuve takes no time off. He has walked, popped out, and then singled a couple of times. He's driven in his 17th run. He has scored a run and played outstanding defense. Well, that wasn't the typical Altuve swing.
No, he waved at that slider down and away. Leon's got a very good slider with a good low mid 90s fastball.
Charlie Furbush, the left-hander, warming in the pen for Seattle.
Actually, Ash, I got it wrong. It was the Snake River Canyon he tried to jump, and it was back in 1974. Still didn't make it though.
Still the same result, apparently. Pitch has popped up. They're going to get Altuve. When it comes down, he'll be 2 for 4 on the night. Out number 1 here in the 8th. That brings up George Springer, who is 2 for 4 on his night. 2 bombs on the night. Got it started in the first. Altuve drew a leadoff walk. Springer launched one to right, his 5th of the year. He came up in the 5th inning and launched one to left field. Another 2-run job, 6 now for George, and then grounded out, driving in a run in the 6th inning. 5 RBIs on the night. So he's picked up some firsts here this evening.
And on that first pitch, he waved at another slider down and away.
Leone has a pretty filthy looking slider away. Ground ball back up the middle. Second baseman Bloomquist with the play, and that winds up close.
Here's a look at the Astros' upcoming schedule presented by Progressive. See one more game here in Seattle. Then they have the end of this road trip with the 3-game set in Kansas City. Then go home for the Baltimore trip, or the Baltimore Orioles. Off day on Monday. Angels and Twins.
Looking forward to getting back home. It's just day 6 of this 10-game road trip, so still some work to be done. One more tomorrow here, a day game in Seattle, and then 3 in KC before coming back home, as Mike said.
Well, unfortunately, my road trip only lasts for one more day.
Yeah, but you'll be right back in the studio.
Get to KC, Blummer will be back.
Jeff Blum doing a little Pac-12 work. Dallas Keuchel goes tomorrow against Hisashi Iwakuma. That's a 3:10 game time. Scott Feldman, Colin McHugh, and Jared Cozart, the starters for Houston in that 3-game set in KC.
Our own Jeff Blum is in very high demand. We have to share him.
2-hopper to first base. Feed to the pitcher Leone. That does it. A 1-2-3 8th inning. It's 9-3 Houston.
Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central every night at 6, 10, and midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. I almost couldn't get through that because like a Rhinestone Cowboys jamming out. This is a great song, Ash.
Julia, do you remember the TV show Three's Company?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big TV show in 1979. Yeah, Dallas was one of the big shows. The Jeffersons, I know that was one of your faves. You
Sanford and Son.
You know, I hear Julia every once in a while singing the theme song for the Jeffersons.
Busted. I do know the theme song for Three's Company.
Do you?
Doesn't everyone?
Sing a little for us right now as we get ready for the inning.
I was going to sing Rhinestone Cowboy for you, but...
Well, you can feel free anytime you'd like.
Break into song, Julia.
We got a laugher here. It's 9-3, so let's keep up the laughter. Justin Smoak leads it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Darren Downs on for a second inning of work. Smoak, Seager, and Buck due up. And the shift on defensively.
Alan, Josh Fields is in the Astros bullpen getting hot right now.
Jose Altuve apparently is done with his night. Marwin Gonzalez has taken over at second base.
I think Altuve deserves a couple innings off.
You know, I think Fields has himself some 1979 hair going on there. 0-2 the count. There it is. If that doesn't say 1979. Now, if you'd have to shave the beard off and leave the mustache.
That's right.
And then you've got it going on.
I have to say, Ash, you had the nice golden locks working.
Foul ball outside the bag. I'm starting to like you more and more.
But now I remember the mustache was kind of your. That was your.
I don't know, what was it.
your calling card there.
Well, I don't know about that. I've heard a number of things as my calling card, but certainly rocked the stash for a long time. Yeah, it wasn't quite like that. I tried to keep mine free of most meals. Rex Jones, longtime trainer with the Astros, and a great one and a great guy.
And a great stash.
And that stash is certainly a great one.
You think he gets bed stash when he wakes up in the morning?
I don't know. You got to sleep on your face to get bed stash. Yeah, no, I think that Rex ought to be exposing the full rainbow uniform there. I could see him coming out as a left-handed reliever. Danny Boone size.
Mm-hmm. Did the trainers in 1979, were they wearing white, or do you remember?
I think they did wear white, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the only team that still does that is the New York Yankees. That they're every night that their training staff will put on white uniform.
Look very clinical. Count moves to 2-2 on Smoak, who is 1 for 3 on the night. Both clubs with 2 runs in the first inning. The Astros got their 2 on a 2-run dinger by George Springer. 5 runs for Houston in the 5th. 2 more in the 6th. Springer launched his second bomb in the 5th inning. And again, Springer with 5 RBIs tonight. Brett Oberholzer stands to win it, and certainly pitched well enough to pick up a W.
Ash, that foul ball came straight back to us, and I'm going to have to tell you the truth. I flinch a little bit.
Well, you were hanging out the booth. I saw you trying to make the play.
Trying to glove it. We had one last night. I almost fell out of the chair.
If it comes right at you, you'll remember back to the days, but when you didn't have a glove on. Strikeout of the cleanup man, Smoke. First time he's gone down on strikes tonight, and that's now 10 strikeouts of Seattle hitters.
Darren Downs has a very good breaking ball. He's got good downhill plane on his fastball, and he throws that little sweeping slider curve. Not exactly sure what he calls it. All I do know is it's kind of filthy.
Fastball hit in the air and deep to right field. Off the bat of Kyle Seager at the wall. Springer leaps and doesn't make the play as the ball hits off the wall. It'll be a 3-bagger for Seager when it's all said and done. And I don't know what happened with Springer, because he surely got up high enough to make this play.
Not exactly sure what happened. We'll have to take a look at the replay, but it looks like he wasn't exactly sure where the wall was. That he got on the track, he kind of lost exactly where he was positioned on that warning track.
George gets back shy of the wall and leaps. And maybe because he was shy there, he didn't come up with this ball. But where that hits on the wall, if he gets all the way to the wall, you would figure he would make the play.
That ball hit 12 inches away from being a home run. Very high, majestic shot. So it's coming down at a very steep angle, and George just didn't quite get back. It would have been a great catch.
Bo Porter has taken the baseball, so Downs is done, as now the right-hand hitting John Buck is due up. The Astros go to the bullpen. They'll bring on their third pitcher of the night. Lead as the Astros bring on Josh Fields to work here in the 8th inning. Dallas Keuchel gets an extra day off and an afternoon showdown with Cano and the Mariners on Sunday. That's tomorrow. Pre-game live starts at 2:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Let's take a look at Dallas Keuchel, who's been outstanding for this Astros team. Was actually just 1 out away from back-to-back shutouts. Pitched extremely well, showing all of his pitches right here. Great breaking ball, great two-seam fastball. Just dominated in California against the Angels. Was a little frustrated at the end of the game, but it doesn't change the fact of how well he pitched for the first 3 hours.
Oh, he was great. He was fantastic. Josh Fields finds the strike zone on John Buck. A 1-out triple by Seager. Kind of one of those intriguing plays. I'm sure George Springer would like to watch that play, or maybe not like it so much, but maybe learn something from it. Curveball is fouled off. It's 0-2.
There's the number by Josh Fields. You see the elevated ERA, but since coming back from Oklahoma City, he's actually thrown the ball extremely well. And you see the 24 strikeouts in 16 innings. This guy has a power fastball and an outstanding curveball. Has just struggled a little bit with command of the fastball, spending a little too much time up in the zone.
Buck is 1 for 3 on the night. Grounds one on 2 hops to third. Matt Dominguez with the play. And 2 outs in the inning. An RBI picked up by John Buck as the run scores from third. And now a 9-4 game here in the 8th. Here's what George Springer did on that, what wound up to be triple for Seager. Just never got back to the wall, and it cost him. Watch where the ball hits on the wall.
And if you look, he actually has to come back to his right a little bit and just never quite makes contact with the wall. You can see the dent in the material there on the wall where the ball actually hit. So he was going to have to get all the way back to the wall to go straight up, and just didn't quite get there.
And had he gotten back to the wall, the tiniest of jumps would have likely made that play.
It would have been a great play, but I bet if we asked George, he feels like he should have made it.
Well, I think you hope that he comes to realize that when he sees the replay. And I think he might look at it and say, wow, I didn't realize I was that far off the wall. That towering shot didn't need a whole lot of gap between the player and the wall. Pop fly, shallow left field. Presley comes on and makes the play. And that'll do it for Seattle. They pick up a run in the 8th inning. It's now 9-4 Houston.
Brought to you by Miller Lite. We're going to look at the 2 home runs hit by George Springer. The first one, fastball out over the plate, drives the ball about 8 rows deep opposite field. And then this one, his next at bat, pulls the ball, absolute bullet hit off the back wall in the Astros bullpen. Just has a remarkable swing. He's doing a great job of squaring the ball. Strikeouts are down. It really looks like he's starting to figure it out.
Boy, I guess so. And look out, American League, when he does. I'm sure a lot of fans, after watching George struggle when he first came to the club, thought, oh dear, here we go. But you're starting to see glimpses of what I think he's capable of. And this guy is one of those players that can take a club on his back.
Yeah, he has the potential of being a true superstar. The numbers he put up last year in AAA, it doesn't matter that it's AAA. Just an absolute incredible year, hitting almost 40 home runs. Charlie Furbush on the mound for the Mariners. You see his numbers on the season. It'll be his 21st game. Only 12 innings. He's more of a left-handed specialist, but with the score 9-4 Astros, probably going to get the whole inning here.
Jason Castro leads it off. It's been a bit of a long night for Jason. 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Bush, the 5th pitcher of the night for Seattle. Castro reaches out, puts it on the ground, and finds a hole. But Jason here in the 9th inning gets his first knock of the night. 1 for 5 as he heads back to the bag. Minor league report, some guys swinging it. Oklahoma City scored 10 runs today. Ronald Torreyes is 7 for his last 10 with a couple of ribbies picked up from the Cubs. Domingo Santana, we've been hearing that name quite a bit lately. 4 for 10 recently, 3 home runs. He was acquired in the Hunter Pence deal with Philadelphia. So I think those are some names we will hear from at some time. Don't know how soon.
Yeah, Domingo right there was actually the most traded player in the history of baseball, to be named later.
Yeah, that guy, he's been around a long time.
Actually, I was traded for him a couple times.
I've been looking to see him retire at some point. Bush with a good fastball thrown by. Matt Dominguez on the night. 1 for 3. He has walked and singled in his 3 at bats. Shot one through the left side in the 4th inning. Quickly down on strikes is Dominguez. First out here in the 9th. The Astros with 11 hits on the night.
I think Matty got caught guessing right there. That's a fastball right down the middle that you usually see him put a pretty good swing on. But being way down in the count, he might have been looking for something a little softer. Saw big Kyle Farnsworth up in the Astros pen.
Jesus Guzman at the plate. 0 for 1 on the night. Picked it up from Mark Krause as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Krause wound up his evening 1 for 3. Krause also drove in a run in that 5-run 5th inning. The fastball looks like it has a little more gas than 92.
Tall, lanky left-hander. Comes from that low 3/4 arm slot. John Buck's taken a few off the body today. One off the point of the shoulder, that one right off the face mask. That'll rattle your teeth a little bit, won't it?
It will if you get it off centered. I've had my jaw thrown to one side or the other, and that I don't know, the TMJ, I don't know what it's called there at the jaw, will just get destroyed for a while. Fly ball to right field. Guzman retired as Saunders makes the play. Second out here in the 9th and brings up Chris Carter. You know, the Bee Gees were big in 1979.
Actually, I did know that.
Doobie Brothers. The Dukes of Hazzard. I know Julia was into the Dukes of Hazzard.
Uncle Jesse.
You know, that's what we need next, is for Julia to find a chance to drive the General League. I would pay to see that. Strike on the outside edge. A ball and a strike on Chris.
See a run slide over the hood.
Well, that's your job.
Oh, that's my job.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna be on the other side to catch me?
That's not my job. Yeah, this is what we saw tonight.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, that's not the General League, but
very, Very well-known paint job. What kind of car is that?
Gran Torino, I think. I think that's. Wasn't there a Clint Eastwood movie recently?
Yes, there was.
2-2 the count. We're in the 9th inning, 9-4 Houston. Having a semi-laugher. The M's have put a couple singletons on the board, 6th and 8th innings. Just kind of keeping it close. And now 3-2.
Good job by Carter right there, laying off that breaking ball down and in. That's a pitch we've seen him have trouble with in the past. We were discussing earlier how good of a pass he puts on the ball when the ball is elevated.
Castro on the move, pitch fouled off, so we'll do it again. Chris Carter, a couple of knocks on the night and 4 at bats, and the 2 hits pushing that batting average up to 194.
Sure, Jason Castro was happy with Carter fouling off that pitch since he was going. Get a sprint work in tonight.
Yeah, you always look forward to about 5 or 6 foul offs right here. Again the 3-2, again Castro on the move, and again the foul ball. Jason Castro likely gets tomorrow's day game off. Bush gets the sign. And again it's fouled off, so Castro is getting that work in, and you're right, John Buck has gotten quite a few here this evening.
That one hurt. That ball went straight back out to the pitcher after going off his face mask. We'll see right here, fastball down the middle, and that's right off the forehead. You see the umpire run the ball, walk the ball out to the pitcher to give John a little break, get the cobwebs out before the next pitch.
Here's the ground ball in fair territory, but botched by Seager at third, and Carter beats it out. It'll be an E5 to extend the inning. Castro stops at second. It'll bring up Alex Presley. Just a routine play.
Yeah, this ball actually came up nicely for him. He had his eye. He just missed it. He didn't take his eye off the ball. Even big leaguers sometimes just miss the ball.
No analysis needed. That is.
He didn't just get the air. He also probably gets a little bruise on the chin. The ball looked like it jumped up and then right underneath the chin.
Injury to insult, I guess, huh?
You get up and shave tomorrow. Make sure you had that air. Remember you had that air.
Yeah. Always the reminder you look forward to. Pitch fouled off by Presley. Presley is 2 for 3. Also has drawn a walk. We were talking about the song My Sharona being the #1 Billboard rated song of 1979. Actually, it came out, yes, in 1979. Doug Feger was the leader of the Knack, and the guy who co-wrote the song. He was the brother of Detroit attorney Jeffrey Feger, who gained fame for defending Dr. Jack Kevorkian in the 1994 doctor-assisted suicide trials.
Wow.
Was there a special message in My Sharona? There he is. Still writing songs. Told that was Jack Kevorkian. I'm not sure I buy that.
So he looks very good for his age.
He does. Yeah.
He does have a little bit of rich Gossage Goose.
The Goose, yeah. Yeah, he's.
I think Goose is still sporting it.
His focus isn't quite as strong as Gossage. I think he's lost the focus for the evening.
I don't know if you ever saw Goose hugging guys.
He was a great teammate, hugging all teammates. Pitch just popped up on the right side. Being called by Smoke. He'll make the catch. That'll do it for Houston. They get a hit and leave a pair. It's 9-4 Houston as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Good night, Goose. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Astros on top of Seattle here in Game 3 of the series, 9-4. It's also game number 50 on the year. And with that, we toss down to Julia once again, see what she's got going on Turn Back the Clock night.
Thanks, Ash. Well, we asked the Twitterverse what their favorite Astros uniform of all time was and why. We got some great responses. Here's a couple of them. Really, Leo says rainbow uniform was the best and should always be the official uniform. And at Real M Savage says, I love the 80s Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott era jerseys. Hashtag go Stros. Well, let's show you one more time what those logos were. There's a bunch of them, starting with Colt 45s, Mike Stanton's favorite.
Yeah.
It's like the Washington Bullets. You can't do that. Now, there's some good ones in there, including the current one. Yeah, I really like that. Both versions, the 94 and the 95. I like the Flying Star.
Yeah, those were nice. And then you have the 60s, 70s, all the way up to 93. Actually had the Astrodome in the logo.
We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Kyle Farnsworth, a big right-hander, recently acquired by the Astros, will work it for Houston. He'll face the 8, 9, and 1 spots. Dustin Ackley leads it off with an 0-for-3 night. Farnsworth, just his 3rd outing now as a member of the Astros. He's allowed a couple of runs in 1 and 2/3 innings.
37-year-old still has power stuff. Doesn't quite throw as hard as he used to, which used to be high 90s, 100. Started off the season with the Mets, actually pitching pretty well early, struggling his last time out. And the Mets had an out in his contract after 45 days that they could let him go without paying him the full salary.
Counted 0-2. And we know the Astros have had a big night with the bats tonight. George Springer in particular at Oklahoma City. They won it 10-4 at Memphis. Robbie Grossman had a hit. He's down to 299. John Singleton was 0 for 5. Austin Waits was the DH. He was 3 for 5. He's hitting a cool 375. We talked about Domingo Santana and some of the boys, but they're swinging it well. 3 hits for Carlos Perez, the catcher.
375, that's a good round number.
Yeah, that works at this time of year. It's probably when your agent gets on the horn and says, I think we're ready for the big leagues. 2-2 the count. No night is complete without checking in on the last Lancaster Jethawks and Carlos Correa. 1 for 4. He had a double, hitting .301. Got a strikeout here to start the 9th inning. Hanging breaking ball gets Ackley.
After throwing a couple fastballs up and out of the zone, Farnsworth comes back with the off-speed pitch. Not necessarily a quality pitch, but the speed differential got him. Got it close enough to get the swing and miss.
By the way, there is pitching in the California League. Josh Hader pitched for Lancaster tonight, picked up the win. He's now 4-0 on the year. That's one of those guys that you got to keep an eye on. Willie Bloomquist at the plate. He has played at short and second this evening. The Astros trying to win their 18th. And again, it's game 50 this evening. Wednesday will get the club through that 54 game, 1/3 of the season mark.
Good fastball right there by Kyle. 95 miles an hour. A little bit of movement coming in on the right-hander Bloomquist.
Jose Altuve, a couple of more hits tonight. Ground ball up the middle. VR's got him played well. Bobbles, but still able to make the play. Good hands and good body position to make it.
Good footwork to keep his momentum going towards first base. Even with the bobble, good strong throw. Got him by a step.
And now down 2 and out. Leadoff man James Jones comes to the plate. 1 for 4. Had a single and a stolen base in the second. Kyle Farnsworth trying to close things out here. Much of the crowd of 21,000 plus has gone home. Bare hand effort. Marwin Gonzalez comes up with a gem to end it. How about that for a play? So apparently, if you play second base on this club, you can play with the defensive side of the game, and that does it. The Astros win that 18th game of the year against 32 losses. George Springer was dynamic. A couple of home runs in the game, 5 RBIs. And the boys had some fun tonight, and they're still having some laughs.
Take a quick look at this last play. You see Mara come in bare hand the ball. The ball came up just a little bit for him, but you can see him going to his right. Not an easy play whatsoever. It's do or die, and we know that Marwin has plenty of arm strength to make that off-balance throw.
Big night for the Astros. 9-4 winners over the Seattle Mariners, and we'll try to even the series at 2 games apiece with tomorrow's day game.